We're talking about ghosts, y'all. If you get easily freaked out by things, don't listen.
And some of our stories may contain uncomfortable topics. Listen with caution.
Yeah, it's like, what do they always say? This program may contain material that is uncomfortable for some viewers.
Today,
to talk about
the Spookysode. I can't do it like you can do it.
What, are you trying to Zach Bagans?
That's my Zach Bagans. It's not as good.
Spookysode? You're gonna throw down? Charlie, I am dying to know, and I have a feeling after we talked about it on the live video, I have a slight inkling maybe of what you're talking about, but I want to know what you are actually talking about.
Tell me what you think.
I think you're going to talk about shadow people.
I'm talking about shadow people.
God damn it. I wanted it, but I did not want it.
You know? It was so spooky to start with.
They freak me out.
Well, as far as...
Do you talk about the shadow people that also wear fedoras?
Yeah.
That's a weird thing.
Mm-hmm. My specter.
Yeah!
We're here for Spookysode number 4.
4.
As is tradition, we're doing our top 2 listening cities.
Yeah, man.
Receive some special attention.
Ooh. We each picked one. I took Seattle.
Mm-hmm. The other top listening city...
Topless. I heard topless.
The other top listening city was Lawrence, Kansas.
And I am excited as shit to hear about Lawrence, Kansas.
Lawrence, Kansas. But before we go any further...
Before we go any further...
I thought you were just making fun of my...
I did. That's why. It was a deep... But before we go any further...
My bubble bite.
Very Elvis-y.
This special Spookysode...
We have to laugh now.
So we're not...
To soothe our nerves.
Yeah, for real.
This is nervous laughter.
The Spookysode, the 4th Spookysode, goes out to Morgan, Victoria.
Morgan.
Victoria. Victoria!
We both knew it! Oh my god! Stereo! I love that brainwave.
Halo, it did.
And we did it again, and we just said that we wanted to turn them all into songs.
Every patron from last episode forward will have their name in a song.
Now you are Stelio Cantos. Morgan Victoria.
Morgan Victoria.
Nice.
Thank you.
I love how that one just came naturally to both of us. We just both knew.
This is also coming out on Beltane proper.
Yes.
So we hope you're having a fantastic, or had a great Beltane, but now it's time to settle in.
We want to scare your dick off.
That we do. We cannot wait to scare you so bad your dick falls off.
Just off.
Runs off of your body. And we do have a little bit of spooky ambiance happening today. We have here a candle.
A candle. Sent to us very kindly by the Wicked Witch Co.
And the one we have here is lemongrass and green tea.
Beautiful dressed candle.
Oh my gosh. And what was the other two?
Gardenia with rose petals and a cinnamon and vanilla. And I immediately handed the cinnamon and vanilla to Charlie.
Oh yeah, you did.
And the gardenia one warms my spirit. And I love lemongrass so deeply. And so this is like our little podcast. The lemongrass is our communal podcast recording candle. Gandalf.
But Miss Jessica sent these to us from the Wicked Witch Co.
I burned one yesterday. I had a party at the house yesterday and had it burning. They're good, meaty, like low and squatty candles, so they cast a good light. First of all, they have the wide mouth, you know.
In the way, I don't know if this is going to pick up for those of you patrons who are viewing this visually with your eyeballs, but do you see how it like lights the whole
and the way that the glass is curved, it just really makes a big ball of light.
So we will link the information down below, and look forward to our Instagram, where we put up these beautiful photos of these tits, of these damn ass candles.
Titties. Dude. Oh, so his new album came out. This is applicable, I promise. And sort of. And so
sponsored by Sean James.
I wish. Oh my God. So his new album came out. It's The Dark and the Light is what it's called. And there's a song on it called Orpheus, about Orpheus. And it is so good, dude. It's like, at one point there's like trumpets in the background. Like you're listening to it and you're just like, it's a fucking banger of a song. Like,
it's a bop.
I was driving, and when you hear a song and I was just like in my car, just going like, yes. Yeah. Oh, like outwardly, just like tapping my wheel, just like
just causing wrecks.
Oh, God, he's so great. And so then there's another one that's even more soulful called There It Is. And it's kind of political.
There it is.
There it is. There it is. There it is.
Just do the whole thing.
It's great. That was off, but he's better. Right. But like the timing, you can take this out, but like the timing is weird because it's just like, oh, my heart has been aching since the day that I first laid eyes upon you. I know you were the one. And then it just gets all smooth, and there's these fucking trumpets, and it's just tasty. If nothing else, just listen to Orpheus.
Tell him at Macy Frazier sent you.
Oh my God. Oh man, do it though, seriously.
So that was ugly, sorry. Oh my God.
Oh man, I should have sang it better. Take that out. I'm not gonna have him listen to me for the first time and it's not right.
Okay.
You can keep in the part though to where I rep him and tell everyone to at me though.
Sure.
That can
leave
stay.
All this in too.
How desperate. Can you imagine? Okay, so after 22 minutes, we got real off topic.
We did. Macy.
Yes.
Macy, what's your topic?
Last week was the passing of a great figure in the paranormal community. Miss Lorraine Warren died at, I think, 92.
Oh, wow.
Of the Warrens, Ed and Lorraine Warren, the investigators who investigated the Amityville Horror.
Okay, that's right.
And many others. Kind of talk briefly a little bit about how they got started, which is a really interesting story. And then 2 cases that they handled.
Oh.
I'm talking about the Perrin family haunting. And it's not a very, it's a well-known case, but it's not it's not like the Amityville Horror, But then I am talking about a well-known case. And I am going to be telling the story of Annabelle the doll.
Ah!
I don't know if you know it. Do you know about Annabelle the doll?
Not completely. I've seen the movies.
It's really, the movies are very far deviated.
Yeah.
And it's really fucking scary.
Oh. I think we should also talk about what we did before and we'll do after the recording that we've never really done before.
Yeah.
And is important.
I'm quite proud of this. As some of y'all know, and it happened to some of you, particularly in the Men in Black, Black Eyed Kids episode, a lot of people were affected by that episode in various ways.
We're still getting
people
emails.
Let us know. Yeah. Weird things when they listen to it, what happens. And as I was telling Charlie earlier, as they say on Mysterious Universe, when you look into this, it starts looking back. And talking about these scary / evil / otherworldly things sometimes can make you wonder if they're listening and just like, oh, we can just slip on right in, and it's a little spooky. So
slither through.
I am really big on protection. I think that's my biggest focus in magic. In spiritualism is just, I'm big on that. I believe that the spiritual plane is not that far from ours. And, it's just always kind of there. And I'm cool with the nice guys, but I'm not cool with the dickheads. So I was thinking today that
good general life policy.
Yeah, I just really can apply it mostly anywhere. Honestly, everywhere. I made a couple of things. I did a full cleansing entirely focused on protection in the recording studio. I used Whorehound. I used protection incense. smoked up real good, kind of protected the place. When I was doing that, I was brewing a concoction of herbs as well as mixing up everything for a protection spray that I'm very proud of. It turned out I feel really good about it. And so yeah, I think it'll be something that we'll do on these spooky-sodes to keep us from keep this thing from sticking to us.
Yeah. So, on that note, shall we
begin?
Shall we begin? Okay. So the city that I'm drawing my legends from is Lawrence, Kansas. When I was researching these, it was very obvious that the most popular urban legend or spooky story about this place is a place called Stull Cemetery.
Oh.
Well, see, I'm not going to be talking about Stull Cemetery.
Oh.
I saw that it was made of mostly unfounded claims.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Also, of course, it has, it's one of the 7 portals to hell.
There are a lot of 7 portals to hell.
And all kinds of stuff. But what I really saw was that people show up twice a year on the equinoxes, I believe, in mass numbers, like 500 people. And they desecrate this place, and they trash it, and they try to get Satan himself to appear.
Oh, yeah, okay.
And things like that.
Naturally.
And it made me really, really sad. And there was interviews with, like, the family. Like, one guy, his son's headstone got, like, kicked over.
Dude, how do you do that?
Or stolen.
I just don't understand how you do that.
And I mean, there's one thing, because I am talking about a cemetery, and I think going and observing and
I've had picnic lunches in cemeteries before.
Well, I mean, that was very popular in the Victorian era. How very cool of you.
Immensely peaceful. I mean, we didn't, of course, have them, like, on top of a grave. That'd be shitty.
Right.
But, like, had them in, like, under a tree.
Well, I mean, they're peaceful, and they're...
Very peaceful.
Very well manicured. And...
Yeah, and it just felt polite, almost. To just go sit with everybody and have lunch and not be afraid.
Yeah.
Really, was kind of it. Just being like, look, I know y'all are here. Maybe some of you are still here, like... Got some chicken.
But, at what point do you go, I'm going to spray paint on this?
I don't understand that. Like, disrespecting it in such a degree.
I just wanted to kind of put out a friendly reminder to not do that. Because visiting these places, trying to get spooky pictures and EVPs and just experiencing them, that's fine.
Yeah.
But coming in specifically for the purpose of desecrating it just kind of makes you a cunt.
I mean, yeah.
Sorry.
We've never said that.
Okay, what I am talking about is a cemetery, and it's about 1 hour west of Lawrence, and it's Alma Cemetery.
Okay.
So starting off, in Alma Cemetery, countless pictures have been taken there that contain some form or some level of paranormal activity.
Okay, I like a good ghost photo.
Now, many of these contain orbs, which is a polarizing topic, I understand. However, it can't be ignored the amount that seem to be captured.
Okay, I get it.
Misty figures are also showing themselves in a lot of photos, and shadowy humanoid shapes.
There they are.
People have had great success capturing entities at this place. But what really sets the Alma Cemetery apart from your general, it's a cemetery, here, it's spooky, get pictures of ghosts. What really sets it apart is this little thing called the Devil's Chair.
Here we go.
And this is a supremely interesting and spooky story. In looking at the cemetery, it looks completely run-of-the-mill. It's not grand in any huge fashion. There's not a massive amount of graves. It's a relatively normal-sized cemetery. It just looks normal. You would pass it by and be like, there it is. However, at some point on the property, there is a boarded-up well that's just sitting there.
A good spooky whale.
A good whale. And that is what is called the Devil's Chair. So, back in the 80s, there was a man who owned all the land that the cemetery is currently on. And he was a farmer boy. He grew stuff. This was once farmland.
He grew stuff.
He was a farmer and he grew stuff.
And he grew stuff.
And he was a real curmudgeon. Not a nice dude.
Okay.
The town of Alma was newly founded, and it needed a place for its graveyard. They thought that his spot of land was perfect and offered him a cash, payment to buy his land.
All right. Was it fair?
I'm not sure. I don't think it would have mattered because he told them in not mixing words, he told them to fuck off.
Okay, I get it though, man. I get it. That's his land.
His land, and city boys are coming in making banks and putting stuff in. They're trying to make it a little town. Some time passes. The town tries again to buy the land that he resides on. And he once again tells the city boys to fuck themselves. Promptly.
Fuck off.
And just in general is a horrible, crusty old man. A third time, the city men make their way to the old man's farm, and their intent is to give him another offer. Okay. I'm guessing every time maybe they're increasing their offer, trying to make it more attractive.
I would hope so, because if they're decreasing it, that just seems stupid.
We're offering the same amount.
We offer him like $2,000. He says, "No, all right, we'll give you $100."
Okay, why are they German? They look all over and they can't find the old man. And one of the bankers notices a smell.
Oh, no.
And they're right by the well.
Oh, no.
So they make their way over and they look in, see the rotting corpse of the old man.
There it is.
In the bottom of the well. So they, naturally, as you do, they get the law involved. They go to local sheriffs.
Gotta go fish him out.
And, well, once they talk to the law about it, the law, like, really brushes them off. They, like, really, okay, yeah, we'll look into that.
Interesting.
Like, really ignored it.
Oh.
And eventually, and I'm assuming to just appease the men who found the body, or just appease somebody, they had the well sealed off.
Okay.
And apparently, when they did this, they did it so quickly and so quietly that there was not so much as a proper burial or even removing the body.
So he just got buried in the well.
He's in the well. They slap some boards over it. There are theories here.
All right.
The theories range from it was murder. A higher up paid somebody to come and shove him in the well so they could get this land. Because, ultimately, the city did get the land.
Oh, yeah.
It could be an accidental death. Maybe he just fell in.
Yeah.
And since he was such a dick, nobody cared.
Yeah.
Nobody cared that he didn't get a burial. Nobody cared that he didn't get a funeral.
So he's still down there.
He's still down there. Little old man bones are still there.
His little old man
His little old man bones. I'm assuming he is pissed off.
I'd be pretty pissed. Yeah.
Because it said if you go and you are disrespectful, or if you sit upon it like a throne.
You cocks.
First of all, you're an ass.
What is the devil's chair?
In a very urban legendy kind of way, if you sit upon this devil's chair, you will not be heard from again. And it's kind of got a basis in reality in that two people did meet an untimely demise.
Don't mess with the old man. What happened to him?
Not only was it untimely, but it was like a disappearance.
Oh.
Yeah.
I like to think they're in the well, too.
Then maybe there's just piling up.
They're just down there. All those disrespectful fucks.
If you open that well and there's like 4 more bodies.
Like 30 goddamn bodies.
So do not sit upon the devil's chair.
Cool.
Hit me with one.
You know, I'm gonna go with it. I actually also have a cemetery story.
Oh.
So this one there's a lot of legend here, let's say. But a lot of the legend that's out there is real spooky. But there's sometimes some disagreements that happens on, how it looked or things like that.
As it does.
However, the general consensus is that these 13 steps, if descended, associate you with hell in some way. So they are the 13 steps to hell.
Whoa.
They are located in Maltby, Washington. And here's the thing about these 13 steps to hell. So apparently, or allegedly, they're located on Paradise Road. Is the former gravesite of a wealthy family who were also Satanists.
Oh.
And keep in mind today it is private property. So don't just go like... But many don't actually make it all the way to the actual site because it's a really freaky place.
And how ironic that it's on Paradise Lane.
I know. I thought that too. I thought that was cool. On the way there, you pass like old cars all over the road, like all in the side in the trees. Ooh. Apparently there's one car that's like up in the air because a tree like grew through it. And it's
how like apocalyptic.
Yeah, and there's like some reports that have said like sometimes the car headlights will be on.
No, fuck that. Fuck that.
Like they'll be driving and that tree that has like, or that car that's in the air with a tree through it will just have high beams on.
No.
For no reason.
That gave me the chills.
Yeah. And along with that, there is ritualistic animal sacrifices, occult symbols that you're wading through just to get to this location. So a lot of people don't actually even get there.
As you're trying to drive to work, there's just massive
Can you imagine?
sacrifices.
So a lot of the times people turn back by this point. It's just too fucking weird.
Yeah, no, if those lights came on, I'm fucking out.
Oh my God. Because there's also there's a feeling to this place. To get through the cemetery. And it's also not a big cemetery. It's like a private style cemetery. I think I saw there was like around 30 something graves. It was a family cemetery. But you pass through like this gate, like pillars, and they're called the pillars to hell. And so some people just passing through those.
Like a whole mansion to hell.
Yeah.
Okay.
And some reports were that, like they became immediately disoriented and had to crawl out of there. Like they didn't even get to the steps. They just walked through the pillars. And they had kind of Oz effect type stuff to where it's just like, can't hear sound and things like that. And this is one of those things. It's like, did people hear that they were Satanists? And this began, or is this that was a rumor, and now Satanists come out and things like very dark magic type things are done, and now the place is fucked up. It makes you wonder the chicken or the egg, Yeah. But there's definitely something going on, and it is nasty. Ew. It is not good. The steps in 1992, around there, allegedly, were actually filled in. Some people think so many people were getting affected by them. People still nowadays go out there with shovels and shit to try to like find the steps and whatnot. So a lot of the reports and stories are from like the 80s and the 70s when people would go out there and find these.
When Satanism was just at its
during the satanic panic. Yeah, and so people would go out there, and so a lot of the reports and these legends came from that time of when people were able to actually go to these steps. Descending the steps will allow you to see hell, for one. If you walk all the way down to the floor, like the bottom, and turn around, you will be given a vision of hell.
Can you? Oh.
Yeah, and some people, it says, went insane. They just absolutely went insane.
Same, bro.
Some say you sell your soul. There were some things that some people report. There was the legend had it, there was an old chair down there, and sitting in the chair is the agreement to sell your soul to the devil. Oh. You just can't recover from. There were some people that ran out screaming and were never seen again. Like it just something about it, what you learn down there. If you make it all the way to the bottom, it seems like it destroys your life. Like, and your eternal soul.
Yeah.
So the stairs themselves supposedly went to nowhere. They were just built down into the dirt. Ground level is where it started, and it just went down.
Ew.
So I have a story. I have an account of someone.
I love an account.
This was from unexplainedmysteries.com. And the user that submitted the story, this was in 2009, was named Bam Bam Rocks. Or RAWKS. Rocks.
Very 2009.
Good scene language.
Rawr. I'm glad they got to tell the world how they feel about Bam Bam.
On a summer night in 1988, a group of friends decided to visit Maltby Cemetery on midnight. They wanted it to have the full effect.
They needed the full thing.
And he said, like, they were like, before there were goths, there were like goths, and he was like, we were like the pre-goth goths. So like, and so they found the stairs, and even with shining their flashlight down 13 steps, they could not see the bottom. It was just like this impenetrable blackness, this shroud. Yeah, and light did not work well. And so one of the girls became really, and she couldn't even look at them. So like she just,
red flags.
Nope. The author of this story decided to descend into the steps. Sure, he said after the first couple of steps, he began to feel like sick, like to his stomach, just like this, like, and by the third step, he became very lightheaded. By the sixth step, he said he became so cold, he almost couldn't breathe in. And he started hearing muffled screaming, shouting, and stuff like that. Like he started hearing, like, his body physically could not go further. He could not move himself forward anymore. So he turned, and he said he almost felt people, like, pushing him on his way up. Just like...
They're like, get saved yourself.
Yeah, like if you can get out, man, get out. He made it to the tops of the stairs, and he realized the screaming was coming from his own friends. And it's like he couldn't hear it. Like it was just this muffled. He was only 6 steps down, and he said, "I'm 6 feet tall," and they could not see me.
If he's 6 feet tall, and he was 6 steps down, that's like his head is not even like under.
No, and he said that he disappeared. Yeah. They said they couldn't see him anymore. Oh. So he was in actuality like 5 feet away from him, only 4 feet down.
Just
his shoulders and chest should have been above and he said he just disappeared. And he was only 6 steps, like short staircase steps down.
He was going
to a different plane. Ew. They got out of there, you know.
Yeah.
But he said he will still sometimes dream of the stairs and he wakes up freezing cold.
Ew.
So that is the 13 steps to hell.
I like it. I've got a story that is half spooky story, half historical interest. And this is the story of the Eldridge Hotel. Now, this is right in the middle of Lawrence proper.
Okay.
And you can go stay at this hotel.
I want to.
I think we should. They have been featured on a number of paranormal blogs. They've been on television shows.
Has Zach Bagans been there?
I don't know.
He's missing out.
They do have a very famous photo of their lobby, and the elevator door is open, and you can see a figure.
Okay.
And it is on their website. They're very proud of this.
Okay, I like it. I like how they're proud.
They're very proud of it. They're not trying to hide anything. So let me tell you about the Eldridge Hotel. So it was originally called the Free State Hotel. It was built by the New England Immigrant Aid Company, which was an anti-slavery company, and they built it to bring in anti-slavery immigrants. Shortly after, and I'm talking shortly after, it was erected, and then like a day later.
Okay.
A group of pro-slavery men, as well as the sheriff of the town.
Oh, okay.
Rode through, causing massive destruction. As one of their main acts of defiance, they burned the Free State Hotel to the ground, just because of everything it represented.
Great.
So,
what pricks?
Yeah, so they burnt it to the ground. That was in 1856. So in, like, no time flat, a man named Shalor Eldridge built a new hotel, the Eldridge Hotel.
I got it.
He was an anti-slaver, and I imagine pretty pissed off about what had happened. He rebuilt that hotel so fucking fast. And there it stood until 1863. So a good solid 7 years, I believe, until some asshat named William Quantrell,
that Dick William Quantrell,
who was a Confederate leader,
and
his men burned the whole city.
Are you kidding me?
Burned the whole city as well as the Eldridge Hotel to dirt.
What is happening?
Yeah, so
how
Eldridge,
disheartening.
Exactly. But this dude here, Eldridge, Shalor, I believe is his name if I'm saying it correctly. Eldridge, once again, he says fuck that. And he builds yet another Eldridge Hotel.
Good for him.
So in the 1960s, so about 100 years later, the hotel was forced to close its doors, but it stayed a hotel for 100 years.
Oh, okay.
And it closed its doors because motels in the area were becoming popular, and they had absorbed most of the business. It sat abandoned until 1970.
Oh.
When it reopened as an apartment complex.
Okay.
So just this far into its history, not even modern day stuff, it's seen some really emotionally impactful things. We have a fire, another fire, multiple rebuildings, which is always said to kind of stir things up, a closing and abandonment for several years. At this point in the story, it's being used as an apartment complex.
Okay.
Which anytime there's a lot of people making their permanent resident, you're really imprinting some energy there. So now we're in the 1980s. In the 1980s, a group of investors who wanted to see the Eldridge Hotel restored to its heyday, they raised $1 million.
Wow.
And the city of Lawrence itself chipped in an additional $2 million.
Oh, so it got like a facelift. Like
this is a total of $3 million in Macy.
Yeah.
With inflation.
Oh, okay.
This is roughly $9 million.
So they could have just bulldozed it and rebuilt it.
Could have.
Back from the ground again.
Could have, but didn't.
Like twice over.
It took only a year to refurbish.
Wow.
And with $9 million, it better
be lavish.
So through the refurbishing, several parts were knocked down, rebuilt, how these things go. However, there is one cornerstone in particular that was in good shape, and they left it as it was, and it's a structural part of the building. So it's completely original to the 1866 Eldridge Hotel. And its location puts it right at room 506, which is known and reported to be the most haunted, most active room in the entire hotel.
Let's go stay.
I've heard, and I don't know if this is true, I was meaning to call the hotel, and I just kind of ran out of time. But I have heard that Halloween for the next 10 years
It's just booked all the way up. I believe it.
However, I will call and say, look, any day,
yeah,
can we stay? It is said that this room is still home to Shalor Eldridge's spirit.
Well, he seemed like an all right dude.
Yeah. And he feels at home here because it's connected. There's something...
It's the original piece.
Yeah, so there's a connected energy. Maybe he doesn't know why, but this is just his room, and this is where he stays. So it makes it the most haunted room, and haunted is not always a bad word.
Inhabited.
Guest reports the phenomenon of shaking luggage in the room.
I like to think that he's just trying to manifest the energy to put it up for you.
That's exactly what I was thinking. And many have not been able to keep the air conditioner from turning on at all times of the day.
He just wants you to be comfortable.
Here's the thing. He came from a time where hotels were more stately. You would put your customers' luggage away, right? At this time, there was also no air conditioning.
Yeah, I like to think he's like, y'all know this exists,
he's
right?
Like,
this stuff's the shit.
This is a luxury. Turn it on. But the one that really freaks me out. So that's a cute little haunting, and I think it would be sweet.
We got a bad guy.
It'd be sweet to go there and experience.
Have him shake my luggage.
Have him shake your luggage. Get something real light that he could maybe like move a little.
He can levitate a little.
It just gets put straight up into the closet. Oh, thank you, Shalor. So there is something that really freaks me out about this hotel. The elevator has some weird shit happen. Elevators, man. In addition to the hotel having that photo of seeing a figure of the elevator or in the elevator, there is some sort of recurring malfunction on the 5th floor. The door will close to take the riders, so everyone piles into the elevator. The doors will close behind them, but immediately open again. Stay open for a few seconds, and then close and operate as normal.
Where's old dude's room at?
You know what? It's 506.
Maybe he just needs to get on the elevator.
Man. I like that better.
Are you listening to it now?
I was a little freaked out. At this point, I would like to read a 1-star review.
Oh, dear.
That was left on TripAdvisor.
Okay.
And all in all, I would like to say something. This hotel looks really great.
It sounds pretty.
They are proud of their history, and they're proud of their ghost. They have really good ratings and reviews, so I'm in no way dogging the hotel. In fact, go stay there if you can. Try to get room 506. So the title of this was, "This Hotel is Haunted."
And they left a 1-star review?
Yeah.
What?
That's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking if I were to write a review that said this hotel is haunted, it would be a 10+ star.
Yeah, that's
experience.
like sterling.
So this person who is leaving this review, they say, "The Eldridge Hotel is in Lawrence, Kansas, which is the site of the Quantrilis Raiders massacre. The hotel itself is not as old as the raid, but it has burned down or otherwise destroyed and been rebuilt several times. It is said that room 506 on the top floor is a portal to the spirit world.
Okay.
I stayed in room 510! I did not sleep at all. The room was constantly too hot or too cold despite the thermostat that I adjusted. There was a glow all around the doorway, and I heard high-pitched... This part actually really got me. I heard high-pitched twittery sounds in the hallway like voices, and a sound like gravel was being thrown at the door. I don't like it.
That made me freeze.
Yeah, I don't like that. The topper was at 3 a.m. I know.
Really, I hate that a lot.
It's very creepy, and I'm trying to figure out what the significance of the gravel
is.
The topper was at 3 a.m. when I felt, of course, that's the hour it all goes down.
As it does.
Was at 3 a.m. when I felt the weight of a body in bed with me. And I had the feeling that I was being caressed.
Oh, no.
I slapped whatever it was.
Good for you.
And it disappeared. I took a chair and shoved it under the door handle. I regret I did not get out my camera. I believe I was alone on that floor, and there were no kids staying there. They go on to say, I am not religious. I enjoy stories and movies about ghosts and the supernatural, but I have never believed in it. Still, the experience was not a dream, and I had not been drinking as I had a job interview the next day. It was definitely a manifestation that could be called a haunting. There is also supposedly an elevator ghost that likes to change the cab's direction. That I did not experience. And one more thing that they added was, one other thing. I could not get the printer to work in the business center.
Oh, damn it.
That's the Eldridge Hotel.
Wow. We got a Seattle story. And this isn't quite... So this is more just a story of misfortune and violence.
Oh, no.
Okay, so I'm going to talk about the Georgetown morgue.
I love a morgue.
I love a morgue. The history of this place is pretty bananas. It's shrouded in mystery, first of all, and legend. But it was plagued by misfortune from the get-go. Like, just straight out the gate.
I love it already.
So it was built in 1922, and it was the Calling Mortuary Services of Seattle, Kolling.
Oh. I would hate to think that a mortuary
they just call you, do you need us? In 1939, it was acquired. It was bought by the Broughton Brothers Funeral Services by Charles and Henry Broughton. And they had big ambitions for this place. They started a construction project to expand it and make it bigger. And by 1943, it had transformed into a 100 body a day crematorium.
They're really wanting...
That's a lot of bodies a day.
Shit.
So there were 2 tall smokestacks, each 110 feet tall, and a small brick house was constructed on the west side of the building in which Charles and his wife lived.
Oh. Just living at the morgue.
And the town, really protested these smokestacks. The city of Seattle was like, yeah, sure, whatever. But, the people were like, yo, no. What?
What a horrible, ominous thing to see all the time.
Oh, God. And so that's what was there, and they built them anyway. So in 1965, an earthquake hit, collapsing Tower 1, Crematorium Tower 1, killing Charles.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Okay.
Henry ran the morgue until 1968 when it became Georgetown Morgue following acquisition by the city of Seattle. There's a really weird reason for that. I'll get to that when I get to the history. Okay. So the city operated the crematorium turned morgue until 1983 when a new modern morgue was constructed in another part of Seattle. So it just kind of ran its course. It was, they put it on the market pretty much after 1983, and it didn't sell until 1989 and was turned into Richland Processing Corp., a meatpacking plant.
I'm going to leave.
Isn't that gross?
My body.
The city acquired Broughton Brothers Funeral Services because they foreclosed on their loan. I just want to say that. I'll get to why that was. Let me tell you about 2 very violent happenings that happened at this morgue.
I'm ready.
So in 1947, John Figgy Dorsey was a big jazz player.
Oh.
And nationally renowned jazz musician. And he died in 1947 when he was brought to Broughton Funeral Services. And while he was on the embalming table, his body was stolen mysteriously off of the embalming table. The following morning, his wife, Mrs. Dorsey, discovered him on the front lawn in several pieces.
Ew.
Yeah. Somebody stole his body off the embalming table, took him to his wife's front yard, and scattered him in a ton of pieces.
That's a recipe for a ghost.
Well, it's just, what the fuck happened?
Somebody must have really hated jazz.
Something. I mean... So she sent her husband's, they collected the body parts and reconstructed them so that he could have an open casket funeral.
Oh, that's nice. Okay, so they got to bury him.
Can you imagine,
what
though, having to put him, but yeah,
Can you imagine being the wife?
No, that's what I'm saying. Imagine drawing your curtains, and you see your husband who just died.
Just died. You're already mourning.
And he is scattered across your lawn in a ton of pieces. How do you even...
I would be so
I think I would actually
mad.
Maybe die.
Of just have a panic.
Yeah. I don't know if I can handle it. Yeah. I can't.
I would sue the asshole off of the mortuary.
It's how did you
lock your door?
It is not easy to steal a body. How did y'all not notice?
I like to imagine somebody just kind of casually strolled in.
Just put him over their shoulder and walked out.
Weekend at Bernie did.
Oh. The next violent happening that happened in this crematorium. It's called the Seattle Crematorium Massacre. Anytime massacre is in the title, it's not good. Yeah.
Yeah, you know some shit went down.
Yeah. That happened. The first thing also happened when the Brighton brothers owned it. Or Broughton brothers. And this also happened when the Broughton brothers owned it.
They no luck.
Well, it's about to get much worse. So, October 25th, 1968, 9 employees were at the morgue after hours because they were having a meeting. Like an after hours business meeting.
It was a Halloween party and they know it.
2 or 3 assumingly armed suspects came in and bound all 9 employees, including Henry Broughton, the surviving brother who was not killed in the smokestack incident. For unknown reasons, all 9 employees each were forced into the crematorium until they were all dead. Since there were no living employees remaining, Broughton brothers, their extended family, had to let the loan foreclose. So that's when the city acquired it, and it became the Georgetown morgue.
Do you think the city did it?
There's a lot of
Don't come for me, City of Seattle. I'm just
there's something weird about it because it's like while there's like stories of that is what's happened, there's like finding it's like the records have almost been scrubbed. Oh. Yeah, there's a lot of weird mystery around that massacre that happened. Yeah. So 9 people in one night were driven into the crematorium by strangers who never were caught. And
what an awful way to go.
Can you imagine?
What an awful way to go.
Oh my God. That is the story of the Georgetown morgue.
Is it still a thing?
I think it's still a meatpacking plant.
Ew! Haunted sausages are coming out of that thing all the time. So, Mayswad.
Yes.
I know we normally do 2, but there is a very, very short one that, if you'll indulge me, I had to talk about briefly. Because it's called The Man in Black.
Oh.
And we have a man in black.
Oh, yay.
This is also kind of near the area of Lawrence. And this is from ranker.com. Legend tells that a mysterious man dressed in all black can be seen walking back and forth along US 56 near Shawnee Heights Road in Overbrook, which is about 30 miles out of Lawrence. It is said that he just walks on the side of the road. Just walks for a little bit before vanishing right in front of you. No one has ever been able to determine who this man is.
Interesting. Why
he continues to walk this road or even get close enough to do anything. But he's just been seen out there just walking.
Interesting.
I thought that was interesting.
Short and sweet.
Short and sweet. You ready to dive our butts right into our main topics?
Right in. I got a couple of little tales for you. I'm going to first tell you kind of about how the Warrens, Ed and Lorraine Warren, got their start. I'm going to tell you about the Perrin family haunting, which is pretty spooky. And I'm going to tell you the story about Annabelle the doll. And
I'm going to die.
It's pretty spooky. And I know a lot of people have seen the film Annabelle, but the true story is quite different. And Annabelle's actual appearance, in my opinion, is much more frightening than she was in the film. You know how she looked in the movie? It's not what she looks like in real life. She looks much freakier in real life, in my opinion.
The way she looks in the movie is a very stylized...
It's almost too scary. It looks like she's just too frightening. That's what makes the real Annabelle look frightening. It's because she doesn't look menacing at all. So let's talk about the Warrens. Let's talk about these 2. So Ed Warren was a demonologist and Lorraine was a trance medium. And that's how they worked together on these investigations. They met when they were both 16. Lorraine would come into the theater where Ed worked every Wednesday with her mom. And they would kind of get to talking anytime that she was there with her mom and Ed was there. And they started dating.
Cute.
I know. So after serving in World War II, Ed was a painter. He went to art school for a while. And he wound up just saying, like, look, I can do this. Like, I don't need these people telling me bullshit that I don't, I'm my style. I'm going to do this. So they actually made a pretty decent living in tourist areas selling paintings. Oh. So he grew up in a haunted house. And in his house, every night at about 2 a.m., in his closet door would open. And there would be this glowing orb with an angry old woman's face in it. Ooh. And it would just stare at him in hatred.
And as a kid, you're just staring.
Can you imagine? And she's just staring at you in loathing. He kind of was driven by that, of wanting to know if other people, what happened to other people? You know, if this was my childhood. And he would always kind of catch wind of these new haunted houses or whatever, and he'd want to go check them out. And Lorraine was just kind of like, ghosts aren't real, you know. Many of the houses that they were trying to get into were still lived in by people. So he was like, how do we do this? Well, they were very, very clever in how they got access to these houses. Ed would stand out like on the sidewalk or like in the street and sketch the house beautifully. He would draw and paint their house, but with like spirits like around it or whatever. And
just add some ghouls.
Yeah. And so then Lorraine would knock on the door and give the owners the sketch, who would be like, oh, you know, they'd be charmed by it.
Gee, thanks.
And let them in, and they would tell them the story of all these houses, and that's how they got access to all of these houses. Nearer this time, which she kind of, it seemed like always was aware of it, but kind of fought it, Lorraine realized that she had these psychic or clairvoyant abilities, these talents. And so she and Ed founded the New England Society for Psychic Research in 1952, NESPR, N-E-S-P-R. Oh. They started to gain popularity pretty quickly. They were being called on for a lot of them, like the worst of the worst cases. They worked a lot with possessions, especially along clergymen. So that's what makes the Warrens very interesting, is they were very religious.
I remember hearing
devout Catholics.
Yeah.
They really put religion into this a lot. Huh. You know, they're in their work, like Ed was looking for, for devils is what he would look for. However, he remained skeptical a lot of the time because he was not a clairvoyant. And so he worked a lot with scientists and psychics, and they would try to gain the full scope of the situation. Like, what is going on here? One of these cases was the Patron family haunting. This is the story in which The Conjuring is based. So in 1971, the Patron family moved into their new 14-room farmhouse. Pretty large house. In Harrisville, Rhode Island. And things got weird immediately. Immediately. The family comprised of Roger, Carolyn, the two parents, and they had 5 daughters. Carolyn, first, she would notice that her broom would move or disappear. She would sweep out the house and then walk in, and right in the middle of the floor would be a pile of dirt, just left there. You know, it's just snide. Mm-hmm. And then she would hear scraping sounds coming from the kitchen inside the kettle.
Ew.
Yeah. She would hear the sound of inside the tea kettle, scratching.
Ew. I just think that something has its hand in it.
Yeah.
Ew.
So Carolyn was not fucking around with this. And so she looked into she was like, I'm going to look into the history of this house and see who's living in it with us. She did not doubt spirits.
I love when that happens and they don't take 40 years to be like, I think something's going on. No,
this family was very well just okay. The house before they bought it had been in the same family for 8 generations. This house is old. Many of the family members died in terrible ways.
Ew.
So many children drowned. There was a murder, and multiple hanged themselves in the attic.
Oh.
Yeah. And then there was Bathsheba. She was the worst of all of the spirits. And she believed herself to be the woman of the house, and she hated Carolyn.
Oh.
Hated Carolyn.
Trouncing on her territory.
Bathsheba Sherman lived in the house in the mid-1800s and was believed to be a Satanist, as most of these stories go. Evidence suggested that she was maybe involved in the murder of a neighbor's child. She was never arrested, anything like that, but it's kind of alleged that she was responsible in some part. So shortly after moving in, Caitlin was awakened by a very tall woman in an old gray dress. And Carolyn quotes, with her head hanging to the side like a sack of cobwebs. Just let that sink in. Isn't that awful?
That's terrible.
It's terrifying.
Hanging to the side like a sack of cobwebs.
The lady shouted at her, get out, I'll drive you out with death and gloom.
Oh.
The entities, they eventually all kind of figured out who they were.
I'm sorry, I'm still on sack.
Yeah, it really fucked me up.
It's just, it's it's hanging, but it's soft and hollow.
Yeah, just, I don't even know what that means. So, but all of the entities that they encountered, they determined were family members that died by their own hand. These were people that killed themselves.
Okay, all right.
And they seemingly were kind of trapped or unaware that they were dead. Or they were members that died super suddenly in violent acts. And it's almost like they said they didn't know they were dead. They're just still there. Bathsheba was physical. And she would regularly slap and pinch, primarily focusing on Carolyn, who she also stabbed with a knitting needle.
Oh,
yeah,
she hates her.
And plagued with images of fire. I couldn't get a straight answer on what that meant, but it seems like she was like getting in her head.
That's what's scarier to me, because to me, like, a ghost can only really do so much, you know?
Yeah, but when they can cross that physical plane,
when they're getting in your head,
yeah. Other spirits had notable characteristics, and these are not fun. They would regularly smell the overpowering scent of rotting flesh. Which was worst in the cellar, which they tried to avoid at all costs, except occasionally, and almost like sometimes as if it was taunting them, the heating element would go out downstairs, and Roger had to go down there. That was the only time they went down there, was if something was wrong with the heat. And he said he would, I hate this. Oh God, I hate it. He would feel a cold, stinking presence behind him the whole time, just like looming over him. A cold,
presence.
stinking. It smelled like rotting flesh. And I just imagine this like weird high, like a 7.5 foot, like tall, rotten corpse.
Ew.
And just kind of like, with like a little too close. Just kind of like has his head bent down over him.
Yeah.
And that's like lurch. That's like what he said it felt like. It was just behind him. Just oppressive, this cold, stinking.
Ew. That bothers me so much because normally stinking is associated with like the heat, like a hot dead.
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
But, like cold.
It's like, that's just his character.
He
just stinks. Okay. So due to financial reasons, the parents could not move. They're pretty much stuck there. But they were put in touch with the Warrens, who came to help. Lorraine conducted a seance in which Carolyn began to speak in an inhuman, unknown language. Her body contorted dramatically, and she levitated in the chair. Fearing for her, Roger actually kicked the Warrens out. He was like, y'all have done, get out. And they had to live with what they determined to be 9 spirits for 10 years until 1980. However, their daughter... And she's written a few volumes about the stories that they dealt with for 10 years in this house. And she said that some of the spirits had just gotten really attached to them and actually followed them. Can you imagine just always smelling rotten flesh? It just follows you.
Just drive you crazy.
Oh my God. So, let's talk about Annabelle.
Yes.
All right.
Yeah.
So Annabelle was given to Donna by her mother as a gift. Yay. And Annabelle actually was a very large, like 3 or 4 foot tall Raggedy Ann in actuality.
Creepy.
And she got her at a secondhand store. Donna was a nursing student and she lived with her roommate, Angie. And they both actually kind of liked the doll at first. However, she started to move. At first, it was small movements, such as changes in position. But she got braver. She became more brazen. They would start to find her in ways that she was not even remotely left, like not even a little bit. She would be left on the couch and they would come home to find her in Donna's room with the door closed behind her.
I don't.
Sometimes she would be found sitting with her arms and legs crossed or standing upright or kneeling.
Ew, that's the worst one.
Yeah.
Ew,
yeah.
Why?
Yeah. It's just awful all around.
Ew.
So soon after, Donna and Angie began finding notes in the house, written on parchment paper, which they didn't have. Nobody has parchment paper. I mean, I guess I do, but
like you went out of your way to
yeah.
get it, like.
I found in some sources they were written in like crayon, but
what a weird like trying to give an impression of something.
Yeah, and they would say, "Help us, help us." Once it helped Lou, which was a friend of theirs and Angie's fiance, and Lou
left.
Lou hated this thing.
Oh, yeah.
He, from the get-go, was like, fuck this thing. So one night, Donna found Annabelle leaking what looked to be blood. It was on her back, coming out, and then there were like a few dots on her chest. And so then one day, or not, I wasn't sure, Lou was over, the fiance, and he was taking a nap on the couch.
Don't do that, man.
And he woke up and found her staring at him.
So she knows how he feels about her.
It's alleged it could have been a dream. He doesn't think so. He felt like, so she was staring at him, and he says he saw her slowly crawl onto him. Like he was paralyzed, like sleep paralysis. And it just and it's a Raggedy Ann, so it has that stone face, you know, and the big clumsy body crawled onto the couch, and he started feeling he was being strangled. And eventually he blacked out. He just blacked out. Another time he was over with...
Why is he still coming over?
I don't know.
Leave,
and
man.
he was with Angie, and they heard something knocking around in, I think, Donna's room. And so he went to go check it out. For some reason, he had to go check it out. I feel like he should be like, you know what, y'all keep this thing here. Y'all go check it out, first of all. And so he saw her staring at him in the corner. And when he went to turn around, he doubled over in pain because he had 7 burn-like scratches that had appeared on him after he looked at her and turned his back on her. And it was either 3 vertical and 4 horizontal or the other way around, but they were crisscrossed. It was after the scratches that Donna was like, all right, I got to call a medium. I got to figure something out because this is obviously a problem, which I would be like, all right, you're going in the fucking dumpster now. They contacted a medium and they had a seance. And the medium told her that there was a spirit named Annabelle Higgins residing with them. She died when she was 7 before the apartments were built. And she told the medium that she felt comfortable with the 2 girls and just wanted to be loved. And they gave her permission to reside in the doll.
That's...
Yeah, it just...
Okay, like a spirit that lies to you is one thing, but a spirit that comes through and lies to the medium, talking about, I just want to be loved.
That's a
fucking demon.
Well, it is a demon. The Warrens soon became involved in the case, and following their examination of the doll, and with Lorraine, she was a medium. She would go into trances and could see who all was in the room. And she said the doll itself was not like directly possessed with a little girl spirit, but it was being manipulated by a real savvy demon. Ooh. And this demon's goal was to take over a human host. So them inviting the demon to live in the doll was one step closer. It got him in the apartment. She said this spirit's not human. They got in contact with the Warrens because Donna contacted a priest, and all the priests knew the Warrens because they worked with them a lot. So they convinced Father Cook, the priest, to exorcise and cleanse the home as well as everyone in the room. Ed and Lorraine then took Annabelle with them, but she didn't really want to go. She didn't make it easy. The ride home with Annabelle was really dangerous as they had her in the car. Several near accidents almost occurred, people getting in their lanes. Ed eventually stopped the car and sprinkled her with holy water just to get there.
Like a dad pulling over.
Yeah.
Like, okay, all right.
Following which, when she got to their house where they maintained and kept a lot of artifacts, she was encased in a glass box with a cross on the front, and she has remained ever since in that box. She's blamed by some for the death of a young motorcyclist. When Ed was doing a tour, the young man was mocking her. They were joking. Like, no.
Yeah.
He crashed into a tree and he died.
Oh.
Yeah. Right afterwards. So she demands respect.
Yeah.
Apparently it's still in her. They've never been able to get it to leave. And so I looked it up, and the museum does display her, but right now they're closed for renovations. Or not renovation, sorry, relocation. However, last year they had an evening with Annabelle, which was an event hosted by the Warrens' son-in-law, in which it was a ticketed event where you had a very elegant dinner, provided with intimate viewing and contact with some of the most evil items that they had. Yeah, including a video of the late Ed Warren explaining all of the items in great detail.
Oh, that's cool.
Yep.
I'd have gone to that.
Yep. So they had it in 2018. So I don't know if they do it every year, but I saw that they did it in 2018. But that's the story of the Warrens.
That is so freaky. They unwittingly gave permission.
Yeah. Didn't know. But if that's the lesson to you, never invite anything to live in anything.
I don't just love it.
No, I don't either.
I need a minute. I need to step out of this room for a minute.
We broke for food. It's boudin and cake. Lord.
And cheesy rice.
So good. Which is good because I feel like I'm about to have to strap in. I'm about to have to emotionally prepare myself for the horrors that are about to befall me.
Yeah. Right now, I'm going to tell you about shadow people.
Fine.
Let's talk about shadow people, man. There's some strong feelings out there about these entities. And it can mean many different things to different people, which I thought was very interesting. So I am going with the description of shadow people as their own entity, which I believe they are.
Mm-hmm.
In general, a shadow person is a humanoid figure devoid of defining characteristics and oftentimes appearing as a black silhouette.
Yeah.
That's why they are called shadow people, because they resemble when you look at your own shadow. The specifics can differ slightly, such as the size of the shadow person or the consistency of the shadows.
Okay.
They can range from a dark, misty substance to a completely opaque, almost two-dimensional appearance.
Those are the ones that freak me out the most.
There are typically two different kinds of shadow people. This freaks me out. There's the ones that are called the peepers, and then there's the full body sightings. And a little bit on the peepers. That's exactly what they do.
Yep.
They kind of peep out from behind
Those
doors.
honestly are like worse to me for some reason.
It's because
they know they're trying to not be seen.
Exactly.
There's that acknowledgement of trying to not be seen.
Exactly. Whereas if you're seeing a full one, you don't really know if you're seeing it because they don't know that they're being observed.
It's like, is this like a stone tape theory thing?
Right.
Should they just do this over and over again? But something that's like peeking
trying
at you.
to avoid your gaze.
That's the episode of Ghost Hunters about the lighthouse. I've talked about it before. That episode to this day is the creepiest episode out of all of them to me, because something ran like up 3 flights of stairs real quick and then leaned over.
I remember that.
That episode fucked me up. I don't like the peeping element at all.
Which is something that, and we've talked about this before, I see almost on a daily basis.
Out of the corners of my eyes, I see things like that. I think a lot of people do.
And that's generally where it is from the periphery. It's almost like as soon as you become aware of them, they kind of dart across the room. And it can do anything from just dissipate into the air, fade into the darkness if the rest of the room is dark, or it can straight like dart under your bed.
Yeah, those are the ones that get me. The ones that will just run away.
Go places. Go into your closet or go behind a television set. There's a general feeling that shadow people are lurkers or observers. And upon seeing them, in most people, they bring on a sense of fear or dread. Their shared behavior is quite creepy. They're not only fond of observing you from behind doors or from the dark corners, but they're also known to sit on the floor next to your bedside.
I picture them like sitting there just like cross-legged, just sitting there waiting on you.
That's exactly what it is. And a lot of the accounts that I read and a lot of things I read, and this makes it worse, they're not like facing at you. They're just kind of sitting and like facing a wall.
That's worse.
Yeah. And this is what made me turn off my computer and stop researching this at night.
Oh, yeah. I remember you told me this.
They're also fond of sitting underneath desks by your feet. And then, of course, you have that feeling. Shadow people bring on that feeling of being watched. And you just kind of know that there's eyes on you. So if you're sitting there at your computer desk, you have this feeling, you look under, boom, it darts away. So you're not really seeing anything. Yeah. So at any time you're on the computer or at a desk, it just could be there. It could just be there and you're not going to see it. I hate it. They appear mostly at night and will loom over people as they sleep.
Why?
Shapes range from tall and slender to very small and close to the ground. They can even be as small animals, like cats.
Yeah.
Shadow people are one of the most ancient entities, and this is terrifying and fascinating to me. We've been seeing them since the beginning of time. And we've been including them into our folklore and even into religious works. The Quran makes mention of shadow people as pitch black, sapient beings that are neither entirely spiritual or physical. The ancient Egyptians, they knew shadow people to be real as well and even gave them a name. They are the Calibut. The Greeks made mention of shadow people and believed them to be actual shadows that would roam. So when you were without a shadow in a very bright room, or other times that people believed you were without your shadow would be out roaming and doing things. And it represented the dark side of the person that it belonged to. So that's when the dark side of you gets to go out and play around.
Have a good time.
Have a good little time. And the Romans thought that the shadow people were messengers of the underworld. Romans were real into that.
Yeah. Well, and there's one theory that's out there that they are. This one kind of blows my mind a little bit, and it actually makes me a little less scared of them. However, I don't think it's the case for all.
I think I know where you're going.
That they are actually living, breathing humans visiting in different dimensions. However, in our dimension, they come across as like the void.
It's like a load error.
Yeah, it's like the full physical being did not manifest, and that's what's there. And there's been reports of people almost corroborating each other's stories because they were there, but like one was the shadow person in each other's stories. It's very interesting. I love it.
So, who are they? What are they? What do they want? Widely and hotly debated, this topic is.
Yeah.
The possibilities include ghosts or a type of ghost. Pretty straightforward. Tricksters. This is probably where I fall with shadow people. I feel like they are some form of trickster.
Yeah.
Because they are known to show up when you think about them. And to take on forms of things that really freak you out. After I read the accounts of ones that sit next to the floor, like sit next to you as you're sleeping, that's the one that really got to me the most. So in this scenario, I would be more likely to see that, one. Yeah. Exactly. So they kind of take what you are afraid of and they play on it. And a trickster is something that would feed off of that.
Yeah, that's why they do it.
They want that emotion, so they can... Some people believe they are a type of poltergeist. Some people think they are aliens.
Oh.
Some people think they are demons.
Oh, of course.
Some people think that they are people traveling through time.
Okay, yeah, that kind of goes, yeah.
And then there is the interdimensional beings theory. I want to talk a little bit about the poltergeist theory, picking up after the tricksters here. Mostly it's believed that the two work in tandem. Not always, but people who have experienced shadow people also have a higher chance of being recorded as saying having experienced poltergeists as well. So there is a theory that they work together. Maybe they feed off of each other's energy. I like to think that a poltergeist makes a person who lives in the home so afraid, so uncomfortable all of the time that a shadow person is just attracted to that. And they're like, here's my source of food. But that there is that theory that they're observers. That comes into play in the alien theory, the people traveling in time theory, and the interdimensional being theory. That they are here to observe us. That's why they are looming over us as we sleep. Maybe they are tapping in and seeing things. Maybe as we sleep, we're more open to that kind of stuff. Some even think that we astrally project when they are near and we have conversations with them. Demons, of course.
Oh, great. That's a good transition.
Demons. I want to talk about demons. So demons feed on fear, obviously. Anytime something is scary, there's going to be somebody out there who cries demon. That's how this shows up. But they've also been linked to sleep paralysis.
Yep.
Since the beginning of
people
sleep
see them
paralysis.
a lot in sleep paralysis.
They see shadow people, but they also see things that they would describe as demons. So they've become very synonymous with each other. A demonic version of a shadow person has been known to crawl onto the chest of a sleeping person and choke them.
Yep, that's a big one.
That's very common in people with sleep paralysis. However, many people who experience sleep paralysis will insist that this is not the same. They'll be like,
this is not sleep paralysis.
Yeah, they'll be like, I've had sleep paralysis. I know what that feels like. This was not that. Which brings us to the people traveling in time theory. A lot of people like to say time travel can't be invented, otherwise we would already know about it, right?
Yeah,
There's a theory that we are already being visited by people in the future. And various things that we pick up on could be them. And this is another example of that. That maybe they peep out and look at us because they're trying to avoid being seen.
Yeah.
And it could be, shit, maybe it's you from the future.
Yeah, maybe so.
Coming back to see, oh, hey, I just want to see my life at this time.
Maybe those moments that you have deja vu is because you're realizing my future self has seen this. Or, or like...
Maybe there's some kind of, and this gets a little wacky, buckle up. Maybe there's some kind of cloaking device that we wear to not be observed by ourselves.
Yeah, I'd go for it.
Because if we're aware of all these people traveling back through time, A, we're being overrun by them, but B, it's extremely distracting, and it's going to change the course of history. You don't want to fuck with time in that way. So maybe that's why when you see them, they kind of dissipate. Maybe they're pulled back to their own time.
That's really some of my favorite theories is how it's actually alive humans. They're alive.
And in this situation, they're not evil, but it's thought that maybe this, along with the interdimensional beings theory, that we can't quite understand it. So when we look at them, maybe that's why they're blacked out. Yeah. Or maybe that's why we feel as if it was a dream, or these other explanations. Yeah. We just can't quite comprehend it. Interdimensional beings is one of my favorites. Yeah. Who knows why anything from another dimension happens? Yeah. I mean, dimension shit gets weird.
I love it. I love it so much.
It gets
And every time I read it, even the wacky shit, I'm like, yeah, probably.
Sure. I mean, hey, why not? I mean, fucking what else, So there's no real explanation to why the interdimensional beings are here. Maybe we just crossed over and we're just seeing them. Maybe they're more spiritually aware than us, so they can see us. Yeah. So they're like peeking around corners. Maybe they're afraid of us. Yeah. Maybe that's why we feel that fear, is because we're picking up on it. And they're the ones afraid of us. Maybe they are traveling here from another dimension for who knows what reason. They have maybe they have that technology.
Maybe they have like a layover in this dimension and they need to actually be in another dimension, but they gotta lay over in this one for a little bit.
I gotta go lay over in that fucking dimension. Then I get to go to my Tahiti dimension for a week. There's a really small percentage of people out there who actually believe that shadow people are guardians. Okay. And when I say really small, I mean really, really small. Yeah. That that's why they look over us while we sleep. And that's why they sit near us. And that's why they're peeping out and looking at us. I don't buy it.
I'm sure they're not sucking my soul out when I'm sleeping.
I think they're tricksters that feed on our fear. Yep. I think guardians would feel more like guardians, but hey, that's just me. Embodiment of pure evil, or just guardians, or everything in between. There seems to be several types or categories of shadow people. So you have your standard, which are the peepers and the ones that you see standing over you. There's also red-eyed shadow people.
Yeah, you hear about these.
And you hear this description in some of the more violent retellings. Yeah. Which makes me question, is that really a shadow person? Yeah. Or is it something that feeds on what we think a shadow person is? Yeah. It's exceptionally rare to capture them on camera, although I've seen a few videos that are really intriguing. Okay, and lastly, there is the entity known as the Hat Man.
Yeah, these are weird.
Many cultures believe if you see this particular shadow person, that means a tragedy is about to befall you. He brings on the most intense feelings of fear, and he only shows up when the worst things are happening. There might be a tie-in to the Men in Black, because it's a very similar shape that he has. You can't really see him, but you can see he's got the hat and kind of the square shoulders of a suit.
Yeah, he's kind of bulky. Yeah, kind of in business attire.
And that there might be some kind of crossover between whatever the Men in Black really are. Yeah. And some people think that the Hat Man actually belong to our old friends, our old cosmic buddies, the Greys.
There they are.
They think that's what the Greys are the shadow men. There's a theory of how we perceive these shadow people. It depends on how open our third eye is. Some people think that we only see these beings with our third eye. Yeah. No one's actually seen a shadow person with their waking eyes. There's a more terrifying theory, though. Some people think it's a spectrum, a destination that you will inevitably come to, that it starts off on a very small scale. It starts off with the little peepers that you don't really see that much of, to the ones you see kind of darting across the floor. A word I saw that I did not like is
crawling
across the floor. And then suddenly the next thing you're seeing are quick glances. And then the next thing you're seeing is the face-to-face.
Then they're just having a cup of tea with you.
And then they're sitting on your chest, choking you, wringing your neck as you sleep. Yeah. Most encounters seem to be harmless. However, there are definitely more intense and violent stories involving shadow people. And I think we might have a couple here today.
We've had some before anyway, and some that we've read.
And my experience has been completely harmless. Yeah. Scary, but completely harmless. I guess that's how I will end it. That's the Shadow Man.
That's all.
Shadowman.
The Shadowman.
We've got listener stories. We have 10 listener stories.
10 today. This was sent in by Michelle P.
Michelle P.
They said, when I was younger, 9 or 10-ish, I was working on finding my voice. I was speaking publicly about some unfair programs in my school district and receiving a lot of backlash. Good for you at 9 and 10. That's that's a tough age anyway. But almost every day when I walked to school, I would see this murder of ravens or crows. And in the group, there was a white one. I always felt like it was watching over me to the point where I made it into my first email address.
Aww.
The second story ties into Amethyst's protection abilities. When my now husband and I lived with his parents when we were both dealing with unemployment, every so often I would feel this dark presence looming over me while I slept. It was like this extra dark patch of blackness next to the bed, and it just felt malevolent. I would wake up in a cold sweat, heart pounding, and be afraid to get back to sleep. Every time that happened, I always had the impression that the being entity had horns or antlers. However, for my birthday that year, my mother gave me an amethyst rosary. I put it next to the side of my bed. That night I woke up, but it was after feeling this warm, protective presence next to me, watching over me. I haven't seen the malevolent entity since then, but I usually have some kind of amethyst jewelry or my rosary in my bag. I don't like the antlers thing.
I don't like the antlers thing at all.
That's not cool.
You know what that sounds like? Shadowman.
He's just wearing some, like, Christmas Rudolph antlers, just sitting there.
I have one from Ken K. This is friend of the show, Clever Kim's husband, Ken, has written us a story.
I'm very excited to hear
and
it.
I've been very
She
intrigued.
said it was a doozy. Like, she told us, she was like, it's pretty scary dude.
All I've seen was the name of the Word doc, and it was just called Blacker Than Black.
Oh,
So I'm
shit.
real ready for it. Okay, here we go. This story, as I wrote it, is 100% true to my best recollection. All of the events with their visual and auditory parts are very clear in my mind still after a long time.
We're off to a great start.
Oh yeah, baby. In the autumn of 1991, I temporarily moved in with a close friend of mine that I had known since the 7th grade. His name, changed for the story, was Carlos.
Okay.
While I'm not entirely sure of its importance to the story, he had been struggling with drug addiction for a few years. I wasn't really aware how far down that rabbit hole he had gone until later. In any case, I was there basically crashing on his couch in the basement until I could find an apartment of my own.
Basement.
Don't like it. In the evenings, Carlos and I would usually sit down and discuss all sorts of topics from philosophy to world or military history. Sometimes we would break out a board game and share a bottle of wine or whiskey.
Okay.
Nice.
I can get it.
Macy, hold on to your pants. On at least 2 occasions.
I know.
On at least 2 occasions, we took out his Ouija board and messed around with it for a while. Now, we both had an interest in the paranormal, but we were also pretty serious skeptics of anything we hadn't personally experienced or observed.
Yeah.
Feel ya.
Yeah.
We asked the board, or whoever was communicating through it, a whole slew of questions, most of which I don't recall. I do remember, however, that a good portion of it had to do with past lives. Our past lives.
Okay.
Something odd was going on because the other entity would only answer questions from me, nothing from Carlos. Ooh. We, meaning I, began to dig further as to why this was occurring. It was quickly clear that the entity had some serious beef with Carlos, and it took a line of questioning as to why. It seemed at first as if the entity was being evasive with its answers.
Okay.
But in the end, the entity claimed that Carlos had murdered him in a past life.
Oh, interesting. Very interesting.
Interestingly here, it says that Carlos had murdered it. And then in parentheses says him, ?
Okay.
So there's some kind of question
Okay.
here. Okay. It also claimed that I had been a samurai in a past life. Dope.
Oh, Jesus. All right.
No one of particular historical significance, but not the lowliest of soldiers either.
Yeah, that's pretty sweet.
Nice.
Yeah.
While what was coming out of the board was interesting, the skeptic in me really took over, and I began thinking that the whole thing was bullshit.
Yeah.
We were hearing what we wanted to hear in most cases, and I began to suspect that Carlos was really the one moving the planchette around the board, since we often trolled one another for fun. Okay, I get it. My skepticism was quickly dispelled, however, as I opened my eyes at one point, and Carlos did not even have his hands on the planchette at all.
Oh.
In fact, he had sat far enough back from the table that he couldn't even reach it. Apparently he had come to the conclusion that I had, but in reverse. He thought I had been moving it and decided to take his hands off and just watch. Oh, can you imagine doing that and then you see it fucking move anyway? I guess he was just trying to observe me to see if he could determine if I was trolling him. But my eyes had been shut the whole time and his hands had been off of the planchette. When I opened my eyes to see this, my heart sank to the bottom of my stomach. I felt like I was on an elevator that had suddenly fallen 20 floors. While I can't say that Carlos had at no point been influencing the planchette, it was clear to me that it had been moving on its own. The notion of fun and games went right out of the window, and I was a bit freaked out. We stopped a couple of minutes and discussed our mutual skepticism, but we were both convinced now.
Yeah.
We had been communicating with something. We still had some serious skepticism about anything that that the entity had told us, including its name from a past life. One thing that felt very real, however, was its anger towards Carlos. That is so interesting.
It is.
At this point, we were both sufficiently freaked out enough to put the board away and never got it out again. The weird events at his house did not end there. Oh no. A few nights later, I was laying on the couch on the verge of sleep. It was pretty dark in the room with only a little bit of light that came in from a lamp from a different room. Opposite the room from the lit doorway was a short hallway leading from Carlos's room to the bathroom. As I lay there nearly asleep, a dark figure emerged from the hallway, looked towards me for a few seconds, walked towards the lit doorway, and then turned and walked back to the hallway towards Carlos's bedroom and disappeared. So just kind of came out, looked at him, did a loop, and just went back.
That made my stomach fold into my lungs.
That's like an observation walk. Yeah, that's like
that's just so cocky.
It's just like, here I am. I'm going to look at you and I'm going to stroll around your fucking place. I wondered what Carlos was doing. He didn't say anything to me and I didn't have to say anything to him. So I just went to sleep. It's amazing how really scary moments like that can just make you fall asleep. It's like your body's like, nope. When I woke up the next morning, however, I realized how wrong the whole thing had been.
Yeah.
First, the doors to Carlos' bedroom and bathroom hung slightly askew. They made a good bit of noise when you opened or shut the door. Okay, I get it. And was loud enough that you could hear them in the other room. In fact, if I used the bathroom in the middle of the night, I never closed the door all the way for fear of waking the rest of the house. When I reflected on seeing the dark figure the night before, I realized that I hadn't heard any door sounds. Ew. And that, in fact, the figure had made no sound at all.
Yeah.
Second, I remembered that the figure was darker than everything else. It was darker than even the pitch black corners of the room, far, far away from the lit doorway. Third, when the figure looked at me, the face was featureless.
Yep.
Why is all of this occurring to me now, I wondered. The night before, none of it had seemed out of place.
It's almost like a screen memory.
Yeah. I think that's like a self-preservation thing. Your brain is like, you're observing it, but you're going to process it tomorrow. The night before, none of it had seemed out of place. It never occurred to me that it wasn't Carlos. In the light of the morning, however, these details were as clear as day. To this day, I can't figure out why I didn't wonder what the hell was going on when I was actually seeing the figure. It all seemed perfectly normal. After Carlos woke up and we had some coffee, I asked him if he had gotten up at any point during the night, and he denied doing so, saying that he'd slept like a rock. Ugh. I was a little hesitant to tell him the story because it sounded a bit crazy, and I wasn't even sure what I had seen. I related what happened the night before, and he began nodding knowingly. He told me that he'd seen these... He told me that he'd been seeing these figures on and off for years.
Oh, no.
But nobody else, that nobody else in or had been in the house with him had ever seen them.
Oh, so he had finally someone at least to corroborate what he was seeing.
That was probably just a relief at that point.
Yeah.
He said he called them the blacker than black because no matter how dark the room was,
you can still see them.
They were always darker. And he said he didn't know what they were. A couple of nights later, I was dead asleep on the couch when something grabbed both of my feet and began violently shaking my legs.
Jesus Christ.
They were pulled at least a foot off the couch and yanked around. Ooh, that's like somebody's like, wake up.
That is maybe one of the creepiest things I've ever heard, and no exaggeration.
I hate it. I woke up instantly and jumped up to defend myself, but there wasn't anything there. The house was perfectly quiet and still. At first, I thought the cat of the house was just screwing with my feet, and somehow the sensation felt exaggerated because I was asleep. Okay. There wasn't anything in the room with me, though, and nothing had run off when I jumped up. I have no idea what happened, but the weird experiences had been stacking up quickly. I moved out within a couple of days of this one. Yeah, man.
I think that's smart.
Agree. I concur. Carlos eventually married and moved to another place, thank God. He told me that the blacker than black moved with him and that he still saw them sometimes. I've really only thought about these experiences a few times since then, but lately I've heard references of shadow people, and I'm interested in learning more about them. The sad ending of the story is that Carlos slowly descended deeper and deeper into addiction and mental illness. I haven't spoken to him since around 1998, although I ran into his wife a few years ago. She said that she was getting ready to leave him and take the kids far away.
Damn.
As she didn't even know him anymore.
Oh, it's like they've gotten to him.
They got him. He'd completely changed and had driven off anyone else that he'd ever known, apparently preferring isolation.
Yeah, they got him.
I can't help but wonder if those experiences I had at his house had something to do with it, and those nights with the Ouija board had been just the beginning for Carlos.
Yeah.
As for me, I have never seen any of the blacker than black again, and I certainly haven't touched another Ouija board since.
Good man.
You know, I think that people sometimes who have, call it a third eye, call it intuition, whatever. I think that sometimes with people with a sharper version of this and see things like the shadow people or the blacker than black, they also observe all of the other bad things in the world.
Yeah.
And I think that can lead really quickly to mental illness and things of that sort. So that's a really, really sad factor there. But I also want to say that if he had been seeing them for years, it in no way started with the Ouija board.
Yeah.
So I hope that there's no feelings of like
guilt.
Yeah, guilt associated there. So very interesting.
That was a great story.
That was wonderful. Put that into like a mini.
Yeah, very eloquently written.
Oh yeah.
This was sent in by Pepper.
Pepper.
That's cute.
Pepper.
So they said, before I jump in, I'd like to state that I don't have tinnitus or any hearing problems whatsoever.
Oh, this is an audio thing then.
I actually have pretty reliable ears, and I can still pick up those higher pitch noises you're supposed to lose the ability to hear with age. I feel ya. I've also experienced quite a bit of sleep paralysis during my childhood and teenage years, but since high school, I've slept like a baby, aside from the occasional nightmare. I can recognize when it happens, and I've been free from it for years. I live pretty much alone with my boyfriend when he's not living on campus at his university an hour away. He stayed for the lunar eclipse and left the following Tuesday morning. For a while, during the week of the eclipse, he had been having mood swings, and the week before that, I was feeling horribly depressed. I cheered up quite a bit before he left, knowing he'd be back again soon. For some reason that night, I could feel somehow that my energy, spirit, or what have you, was particularly weak. It made no sense at all because I was happy and not tired at all, and I couldn't really describe the feeling to you other than extremely vulnerable. I went to bed, brushing it off, thinking about, how my boyfriend would be back later and the week would no longer be alone. Or be back later in the week and I would no longer be alone. I woke up at 3 a.m.
There she is.
Sitting up to look around and adjusted to go back to sleep on my side, facing the right. I say this to emphasize the fact that I was moving around and wide awake. Soon enough, though, I felt a heavy presence in the room. It was as if, though, the air was weighing me down. I could sense that someone or something was watching me, boring their eyes into the back of my head. It felt clear as day, as if I were making eye contact with someone looking directly at me. I didn't turn around, but I'm sure I gave off a fearful energy. The last thing I wanted to do was fall asleep at this point, especially without knowing what was in the room. Soon after I made note that someone was watching me, Oh.
I don't like when there's reactions before you say things. I don't like it. Lay it on me.
Oh, there they go. There they go. I've been waiting on it. This is awful. Okay, so, God. Soon after I made the note that someone was watching me, I felt a quick, short tug on my right arm facing out. Then another tug on my leg towards the edge of the bed.
Ooh.
And finally a third pull at the back of my skull. At this point, I had become so pissed off at whatever it was, I decided to kick my feet a little and close my eyes and just go to sleep. Or hoping ignoring it would piss it off. And I didn't think about it the next day until nighttime when I FaceTimed my boyfriend to talk about it. I told him the whole story, and towards the end, I heard a hissing that closely resembled the word "what" in a deep male voice. It was so close that I assumed it was my boyfriend on the phone, although I didn't see him talking. I chalked it up to poor connection and thought maybe the video was lagging behind his speak. To be sure, though, I asked, "Did you just say what?" He responded by saying no, he wasn't saying anything at all, merely listening. Once he said that, I realized perhaps what I picked up on wasn't what, but the word quiet hissed at me in a strange way. Needless to say, I saged the fuck out of my room after that. So far, the room feels incredibly lighter, and nothing strange has happened since.
I want to say that tugging on your arm, and then your leg, and then the back is such an arrogant ass.
Yeah.
I have a story from Elise P.
Mm-hmm.
So my 11-year-old got the family gift of sighting spirit.
Oh.
And she sees so much.
Okay.
One of the things was a girl hanging in the kitchen.
Shit.
Which scared her as she could describe everything down to what she was wearing.
Yeah.
So an 11-year-old girl had like a
a clear image of a dead woman.
Full body.
Yeah.
After a while, she got past it. Strong kid. Dude, I would immediately just stop. I would just live in my room all the time.
Just wear a blindfold.
I would just all the time. I'm in Bird Box now.
Yeah.
Well, one day she was home alone waiting for me to return from clearing snow off of the car, lucky. And she said the atmosphere changed all of a sudden from in the hallway where she saw the hanging girl who still looked like she was hanging, but also walking towards her.
That makes me want to throw up. That makes me want to throw up. That makes me want to throw up. I'm over it. I'm done. Is atrocious.
That's the worst thing, because that means like...
her neck's all fucked up.
Yeah.
I am shedding tears.
She ran out of the house telling me what happened. So I ran inside, furious.
Probably, yeah.
Shouting to stay away from her, and I saged the shit out of the place. And although the girl has never returned, it still stays in her mind.
Well, fuck yeah! How are you gonna clear that image out of your mind?
First of all, can we talk about how there ain't nothing like a parent's love, all right?
I'm telling you. Yeah, I like that. Went in there.
I mean, no fear at all. Just went in there. So you stay the fuck away from my kid. She's gifted. She's gifted, and it's like in The Sixth Sense. They know that.
Yeah.
And
they come and try to communicate.
It's good that you know what to do, so you can kind of pass that down.
How to protect, yeah.
And say, look, you do whatever you want with this gift, but here's some sage.
Yeah. This was sent in by Rachel C. I like the beginning. You want ghost stories? Well, I've lived in haunted houses since before I can remember.
You want ghost stories, kid?
Ghost stories? I'm going to give you some fucking ghost
stories. Here we go.
Stories.
Sit down.
Kids.
Sit down, kids.
The earliest I can remember is a black cat when I was 4. It would run down the hall and I would chase it because we didn't own a black cat. It would always disappear under my mother's bed. At the first house in Lufkin, Texas, there was a Mr. Black and also a Mr. Brown. Both were shadow people that would just hang around. I never thought anything of it. I was always told imaginary friends were normal, and I never considered them to be any different. Why would a 4-year-old little girl imagine entities bland as Mr. Black and Mr. Brown? Literally, one was a black shadow and the other was a brown shadow. You cannot make that up. The TV would also come on late at night, blaring loud. As soon as I would get up to turn it off, I remember I was 4 or 5, it would already be off. It got to be such a common occurrence that to turn the dang thing off, I would just sit up in bed, then flop down and hardly wake up. I never saw Mr. Black or Mr. Brown again after we moved to the next place, in Nacogdoches. So we're in Texas.
Mm.
There was a nice older couple there. The old lady was very particular about the tape on the windows.
Mm.
Don't touch that, you would hear, even if you thought about peeling off the ancient and yellowed tape. The old man was a gardener. He planted an orchard, roses, herbs, and pecan trees in the backyard. Eating peaches from the trees in the summer, you could kind of hear him chuckle with pride. They were a sweet couple. Then we moved back to Lufkin after my grandmother passed. While she did hang around a bit after passing, she did move on. The main entity in the house was a bit hazy to me. I couldn't figure out if it was my great-grandmother who inhabited the back apartment or something else. Whatever, whoever it was kind of rowdy. They paced the hall at night and wouldn't rest until I put on some music. Then they'd be fine. My radio got a lot of use until I moved into the next place I affectionately called the Shack, my ex's and my first house together. A few entities lived there. It used to be an apartment building until the previous tenant converted it into a huge house, 6 bed, 3 baths.
Damn.
It was very run down, hence why it was called the Shack, and the ghosts liked to play pranks. They'd move my stuff, open cabinet doors, silly things. They liked to watch me doing normal stuff like laundry or dinner. I felt them near. I'd greet them because it's only polite. I understand that.
Yeah.
I've done that.
Oh, yeah.
They never responded back in a way that I could hear or understand. After that, we moved into a fine house in a wealthy neighborhood. Something wrong happened in that house. Not oops, kind of wrong, but all caps wrong, kind of wrong. I had never felt such a malevolent presence. My ex and I had been together for 7 years before we moved there. After we moved in, we fought constantly, and we split 2 years later. The bedroom door upstairs always swung open, except for the closet door, which locked from the outside and always swung closed. When you stood in the closet with the door closed, you felt a desperation to get out.
Why was there a lock on the outside of the closet door?
And then it says that you had a feel you wanted to get out. Like you had this desperation
Some
to get
shit
out.
happened there.
In case you're thinking that it might have been the angle of the house, the doors were set on opposite hinges. They both had to swing in opposite directions to close. I couldn't keep my plants alive in that house either. The week I moved out, I was doing laundry in the garage. I just pulled my clothes out of the washer when completely on its own, the lid on the washer slammed down hard and the light went out. As if to say, get out, which I did do with great haste. The entity from that place followed me to my next place. It clung to me until I went with some friends to New Orleans for the NOLA running of the bulls. It's a roller derby thing. While we were there, we visited some voodoo holy places. I paid money at Papa Legba's shrine and gave a tribute to Marie Laveau's shrine as well. I don't actually know who helped me, but I'm due back there as soon as I have a car that can make the journey. The entity didn't follow me back from the place, and I now owe those two a big thank you. Now I live in Galveston. Oh, shit. Now I live in Galveston, and I used to work at the Hotel Galvez. That place is fucked up so hard. There have only been a handful of places I've ever truly felt like I was in a room full of spirits, and it was on the 5th floor of the goddamn Galvez. There are several ghosts at the hotel, most of them friendly. I interacted directly with Bernardo, the children, and the pirate Lafitte.
Aww.
Bernardo's portrait would wink at me when I said good morning, and Lafitte got a little fresh once, pinching my bottom when I was alone cleaning the spa at night.
You little dick.
He's a big dick boy. The children like to print up the spa windows after I'd clean them. I don't like that. Nope. Every day I'd clean the windows, and every day there'd be new little fingerprints.
Little jerks.
Actual children weren't allowed in the spa, for the record. That's how I knew it was the ghosts. For a fantastic haunted experience, you should visit the hotel sometime. There's a concierge, Melissa, who has a fantastic ghost tour and lots of stories. She's one of my favorite people. My husband's late wife, Becca, was a witch too. She gave me my witch name one night in the dreamscape. We don't talk much, but we do work in tandem for my husband's well-being. Oh, that's interesting.
Oh, my God.
That's very beautiful.
That gave me chills.
It can be startling to feel a presence in a room without actually seeing a person there. It's part of a stigma that surrounds death. Just because someone's dead doesn't make them evil or mean. In my whole life, I've only come across two genuinely malevolent beings. Can you mention on your podcast that not all ghosts are malevolent? Yeah. Sometimes they don't even know they're dead. If people are polite and conversational, sometimes ghosts can impart real wisdom, play funny pranks, and even be part of your family. There's nothing really to be scared of. They're just a little different. Yeah. I hope you enjoyed my spooky ghost-filled life, Mary Part. Yeah, I mean, that's like the little girl.
Yeah.
You know, she's harmless. She's very playful. And she tried to save Rustin's life. Yeah. You know, so no, I do agree with that.
Danced with her. Yeah.
We both have. Yeah. I'd say hello to her when I lived at home. I'd say bye and hello and things like that.
I want to stress that they are human beings.
Yeah.
They aren't shadow people or demons or anything. They're human beings who are probably very afraid. Yeah. Or don't even know what's going on. No. Could be these kids who are having a fucking blast.
They're having a good old time.
Painting the steamy window, you know? And, yeah, no, absolutely. I had an imaginary friend that the older I get, the more I think wasn't imaginary friend.
I never had an imaginary friend.
I had one. And I want to talk about this at some point. I have to talk to my mom to get more info about it. Yeah. But I had an imaginary friend, which I had never really had before, named Mason, who was a teenage boy.
Okay.
Just the older I get, and the more I remember weird shit like that. And the fact that he was just a person.
Yeah, he was just a kid.
It just makes me think that I don't know how much imaginary friends are imagination.
Yeah, I agree. I do believe that. I do think that sometimes they're just actual communication with spirits.
And they're just people, so they're a friend. Why not, you know? We got a story from Fenn.
I like that name.
She says, I just wanted to start by saying how much I love your podcast. Thank you.
Thank you.
My aunt introduced it to me on our recent girls' trip. Not only have I learned so much and had a chance to reconnect with my witchiness, but it's also brought myself, my aunt, and my very dear friend, sister, really, even closer as we explore and learn together in our own little coven.
Nice!
Dude.
That makes me happy.
That makes me so happy. I was listening to your last Spookysode, thank you very much. And I had to chuckle while I see my name. Oh, geez. And I had to chuckle a little hearing Charlie's opinion on the Pacific Ocean. That it's haunted as fuck.
Yeah, it's haunted as fuck. I forgot about that.
No water in the Pacific Ocean, just ghosts.
Just ghosts. It's just plasma.
It's just... Since I totally agree, I love is like put in parentheses. And I wanted to share just a few of my own experiences growing up on a tiny island in the, forgive me, Puget Sound?
Puget Sound?
Puget Sound?
Yeah.
Is that correct?
Puget Sound.
I was trying to go fancy with like Puget.
Puget.
This place is seriously old and has always felt like there was a little extra something to it. Very old magic, you could say.
Okay.
I do say.
I do.
I can't say if it's bad or good because a lot of the times it just feels ancient / non-human.
Yeah, I get that.
A lot of Sam Squanches.
Oh, so many Sam Squanches. Then there's Bat Squatch.
Excuse me? No, we need to have a conversation about what Bat Squatch is.
There's Bat Squatch, man. People saw him flying out of Mount St. Helens. I'm loud and proud a believer in Bigfoot. I even kind of think he's an interdimensional being. I will go down the rabbit hole with Bigfoot. But there is like a 7-foot tall bat-winged Sasquatch with dark blue fur. That scares the fuck out of people.
I love him.
Yeah, isn't he very, very glamorous?
I love him.
Can you picture his like crow feather blue fur?
Oh my gosh, like on a lead singer of a rock band?
Yeah, man.
Oh man. All right. So Finn says, here are just a few of my experiences. My now husband and I are middle school sweethearts. That's very sweet.
Wow, yeah.
Like any rebellious teen, I always wanted to spend more time with him than was possible, which meant, of course, sneaking out together.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
We sometimes met up at the elementary school playground, which was a short walk through a forest trail from my house. This is already not great.
Yeah, I'm already getting the heebies.
We were talking, my back pressed against his front and his arms around my waist. He suddenly ground to a halt mid-sentence, his arms tightening. I followed his gaze and spotted at the far end of the field the trees moving. It's just the wind, I whispered.
Nope.
He didn't reply, so I looked back and realized, nope, it wasn't the wind. These things, at least two, walking very slowly.
Okay, that's gross.
They weren't necessarily coming for us.
Okay, they're just doing the thing.
It was just like they didn't even notice or care that we were there.
Yeah.
We were completely still, watching this go on for about 10 minutes. Before we finally booked it back into the forest. Stay out of the forest. Get an airlift to come pick you up.
Yeah.
In the daylight, there was no damage or anything to indicate anything had really moved. But it's still one of the most unsettling things I've seen with my own eyes.
What were they?
Going with the whole scary shit happens at night theme, I was chased / stalked home by something after parting ways at least twice. We don't have real predators, or we didn't back then. There have now been 2 fat black bears spotted since I left.
Yeah, sweet babies.
But I felt completely overwhelmed by a malevolent feeling behind me, to the point where I ended up running as fast as I could bear, sobbing uncontrollably, and calling on every god or goddess I could remember for protection.
Wow.
I hate that, where you're just like, I gotta move.
Yeah.
Something's behind me.
Yeah.
I made it home safe both times, but the feeling of being ruthlessly stalked has never left me.
That's aggressive.
Here's the last story I will share today, and it's deeply personal and even more eerie in retrospect. My mom had packed up my younger siblings for a trip to the mainland for groceries, and while she tried to get my brothers to keep their shoes on, she asked me to secure the back gate to make sure our dogs wouldn't escape while we were gone. Okay, solid. I ran right to the first of 2 gates, which was already open. I drew it to a close with a familiar bang. I started to turn back before realizing that I forgot to check the second gate at the far end, where the forest trail starts. I turned back to go through the gate I had just closed when an overwhelming feeling swamped me. My gaze was drawn, almost against my will, toward the other gate. There stood something. It resembled a stereotypical reaper or even a dementor.
Oh my.
Long, flowing,
God.
black cloak and featureless, shadowy face. But it lacked any sort of weapon. It was looking up towards our back window on the upper level, one shadowy appendage poised over the closed back gate. It seemed interested, curious, almost even in awe, like a gawking tourist at some sort of attraction. Ooh, that's interesting. Ooh, I didn't feel endangered or anything. Didn't sense evil or ill intent, which is part of why it was so damn weird. Yeah. The feeling that rose up in me, hatred and grief. On some instinctive level, this thing just drove me into a rage I had never felt before. I wanted to kill it, to hurt it,
Oh my God.
to drive it away. As if drawn by emotions, the cloaked head turned in my direction.
Fucking hell.
Nope. A quick glance before its gaze went back to the window.
Oh, I don't even care.
Ooh.
Oh my God. Imagining that is the worst thing I've ever seen.
Oh, it abruptly did a double take, as if
You see the shit?
as if it was realizing what it had seen, and seemed surprised to find me glaring daggers at it. And then it was just gone.
Oh.
No puff of smoke, no bright light, just 1 second there and 1 second not. I slammed the gate open and shot for where I'd seen it. I was still fueled by this hatred, but it was nowhere to be seen. That's when I got scared. Oh, that's when you got scared.
I guess adrenaline wears off.
I guess you're just, yeah. The retrospect part. My dad recently passed away after a long battle with cancer. The upstairs window the creature was looking into. It put its gaze onto the exact spot where 16 years ago he had breathed his last breath. So those are my stories for now. I'm sure I'll send you ones about the drowned boy.
Oh, geez.
And the gnome, eventually.
I love gnome stories.
Gnomes.
They're such fuckers. I love a good gnome story.
Why do you think he was looking up at the window in awe? The same window that he passed away in that room.
See, that's what I wonder, if it's that dad, if it's him. Like, almost like, why are you looking at me like you hate me? You know, like when he looked over and like double took, it's like, why are you looking at me like that? You know? It's like maybe he was just looking into his old bedroom or something. And like the awe struck, just like seeing your home again, even if they just were able to visit for a short moment. I love somewhere in this story, all caps says, I shit my pants. I'm ready. Okay, this was sent by Mother Confessor. Great name.
Oh, yeah.
My whole life, I have had weird run-ins with the supernatural and odd abilities. The earliest memory I have is my mother singing a song and singing it back to her. Okay. Except when I told my mom of the memory and hearing her sing the song to my sister, she told me I was maybe 7 months old and couldn't sing the song back to her. She knew this because I told her she had something shiny in her mouth and she had braces removed when I was 8 months old. Not spooky, but weird that like she remembered back that far. I also have memories of my mother when she was a little girl. I have no idea how or why, because my mother was adopted at 3 after a horrific car accident that took my grandmother. Her adoptive mother withheld things like photos as a way to manipulate her, so I wasn't aware this happened until I was much older. Now to the spooky stuff.
Oh, it's like she has an ability to like peer through time.
It's what it sounds like. Things happen to me in my dreams, premonitions, night terrors, and even astral projection. However, through it all, I have what I used to think was my spirit guide. Just an old man, bald on top, plaid button-down shirt with glasses, and a bunch of pens in his shirt pocket. He never said anything to me, but acted as my anchor while I was dreaming. If I was ever having a nightmare or didn't like how my dream was playing out, I would just look for him. He'd be standing in a crowd, everyone's face is blurry and generic, but he'd be. Standing there with his hands in his pockets, same calm look on his face, as I'd know I was safe and dreaming. When I was in my late teens, my mother was given a whole bunch of family photos. I remember she never had any of these before, and she was showing them to me. There in the photo of a long dining room table surrounded with people was my spirit guide. Sitting there in his plaid shirt, bald head, glasses in his pockets. I shit my pants. My mother told me that he was her grandfather. He had died long before I was born, and she was his favorite. I never met this man in my life and never saw a photo before. When I described how he never spoke to me and always had his hands in his pockets, she about died. Apparently he was a man of few words, but when he spoke, people listened. For many years, I pretended the spooky shit that happened to me was a coincidence until I couldn't deny it anymore. When I had my first child, he was very colicky at night. Basically, he would cry from 9 p.m. to 4 a.m. every single night. And he pretty much lived in his baby swing. It would swing back and forth like it was supposed to, but stop at its peak swing for just a split second and then keep swinging.
Oh, like somebody
like got caught
catching it. Yeah.
My boyfriend at the time tried to say it was because our kid was a chunker in science. Okay, fine. Then one night, he had a rough night, so I slept on the couch with him. He normally would be asleep in his swing, but tonight I'd put him in his bassinet at the head of the couch. I'm asleep on the couch and facing out towards the living room. From here, I can see our front door and the fireplace. When you walk around the fireplace, there's a hall that leads to the bedrooms and the bathrooms, as well as the kitchen. It was just getting light outside. Man, that's a long night. The deep gray-blue color of a winter morning, and the baby is crying again. So I open my eyes and see it. The shadow of a girl walk out from behind the fireplace, stop at the baby swing, peer in, and head straight towards the bassinet. Except she walks from the foot of the couch, past me, up to the head of the couch to the bassinet. So I go ice cold and freeze. The baby is still crying, and I hear someone say, shh, shh. And then he goes back to sleep. This snapped me alert, and I jumped off the couch, grabbed the baby, and ran. Freaking out, I woke up my boyfriend and tried to make sense of what happened. So this thing came from behind the fireplace and just walked over and shushed that baby. That was 9 years ago. This year, I finally got a reading from a psychic. I had started my journey and wanted some validation. My sister-in-law invited me to a group reading at my house, and I agreed. I decided that if she was legit, she would tell me about who this little girl was. I had some theories, but no validation. The psychic is going through my reading, validates some of the things, then asks me if I have anything to ask her. I literally said, "The spirit's around me," and she cuts me off and says, "It's the one you lost. The baby is a girl." I had never told anyone that at 19 years old I had a miscarriage when I didn't know I was pregnant. This was 2 years before my firstborn son. The story isn't the scariest. I've seen everything from orbs to ghost children and animals to shadow people. Maybe I'll save those for next time. Interesting.
Whoa.
What a nonchalant psychic. That's like a very oh, by the way, no, it's this.
Listen.
Let me stop you there. It's this.
This is like an example of how not terrifying, like not harmful things can happen.
Yeah.
And they can even be good things and happy things.
Almost wholesome.
However, in the moment, it's fucking
terrible. Yeah, it's terrifying.
Wow. I don't know. Shit like that gets to me because that's such a nice sense of like closure about a horrible situation. I have a story here from Teayra P.
Pretty name.
The first place I ever encountered something was in my aunt's old Victorian home.
Oh, baby.
So far. In Ohio. Mm. It was a huge multi-family home. Oh, God, baby. Meaning that it had the usual living spaces, as well as an entire 2-story apartment through some double doors into the dining room. Okay, just a big, grand...
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah,
gracious.
Man. The doors led into a small living room with a bathroom, a kitchen, with a door to the outside, and a set of stairs that went up to a bedroom at the end of the main hall.
Victorian homes are so windy and twisty, and rooms are always real closed off.
There's a whole apartment inside of the house,
and you don't even hardly find it. It's hidden. It's crazy.
You gotta go through 3 kitchens to get there. My dad told me about his experiences there when he was a teenager, but at the time, I was a preteen and thought I knew it all.
Oh, yeah.
All being that ghosts and the supernatural were made up to scare me, and I was too smart for that. Mm. Hindsight is 20/20, am I right? Mm-hmm. Anyway, when my dad was young, he moved in with his sister and lived in that apartment. There were multiple times that he would hear voices or footsteps moving through the house when he was the only one home.
Yeah, okay. I know that. I am familiar with that.
But the most memorable story happened in the dining room. Mm. He was home alone for the night and listening to his 80s rock cassettes.
Oh, jamming out.
On the huge stereo he and his sister shared.
Cool.
When he started to hear a growl coming from the speakers along with the music. He thought it must be coming from somewhere else, so he stopped the music. The growling stopped too. It's like something's using the electricity.
It's like Quiet Riot is just basically the vessel.
Yeah. I would be interested to know what is playing in the background. A third time, he turned the music back on, and when the growling started, he realized it wasn't just a growl, but it was as if something was growl speaking through the stereo. Mm. At that point, he grabbed his keys and left the house. Yeah, man, I'm bailing.
Good man.
Lights on and all to go sleep at a friend's house. Smart dude. Mm-hmm. Fast forward now to when I was just starting middle school. My aunt had passed away and my parents took over the house. Before we could move in, we had to figure out what to do with all of her stuff. My parents brought me and my sisters with them on the weekends to clear everything out. Mm. The room connected to the apartment was supposed to be mine. But exactly like that. There's a whole apartment just connected to another room.
Yeah.
But for the month or so of us going to the house, I couldn't bring myself to go in there. Instead, I helped clean out the room that would be my sister's across from my door at the end of the hallway. Okay, so you're already not feeling it.
Yeah, that's not good.
One day I was upstairs gathering things up to take in my sister's room. I knew I was alone because both sisters were outside with my dad, and I had left my mom in the kitchen. As I walked out of their room and started down the hallway, I heard something fall. Normally, not a big deal, except whatever fell then started to roll. I can still remember the distinct sound, hollow, like an empty metal coffee can. And it started at what sounded like the very end of the hallway and was rolling toward me, faster and louder as it went. I would have
My face sprinted, is uncontrollably twitching, doing things on its own.
I turned around to see what I must have dropped, but there was nothing there.
You didn't drop anything.
No, you didn't. Mm-mm. The hallway was completely and totally empty except for me, but the sound kept coming towards me. Usually when you turn and look at that kind of stuff, it stops. Ew. I refused to go upstairs after that.
Good.
My parents ended up selling the house after all, so thankfully it wasn't an issue after that anyway. The next story is years later when I was 21 and living with my boyfriend, now husband, on a quiet little street with birch tree woods lining our backyards. Oh, how idyllic. The house never, well, never mind. The house never quite felt right.
Oh, shit.
But there was also nothing overtly wrong about it either. We had 2 dogs that for the most part seemed okay there until one night in particular. A friend of ours had picked us up one night to go hang out in town, and we came home sometime after midnight. When we arrived home, he pulled into the driveway, and we all sat there talking for a few minutes, with the headlights shining on the trees beyond our backyard. No. All at once, my boyfriend starts yelling, "What the fuck is that?" pointing out of the windshield towards the woods. He stuttered out that there was somebody out there, but they had just disappeared. Our buddy immediately pulled out of the driveway and noped the fuck out of there.
Wow.
As we're driving away, that's who you want behind the wheel, is somebody to make a quick decision.
They're deciding.
Like, nope, we're out. As we were driving away, he says there was a man with skin like birch. Oh. Okay.
Oh, that makes my jaw tighten. Like peeling? Like coming off? Like.
As we're driving away, he says there was a man with skin like the birch tree bark.
Yep.
At first, he didn't realize it was a person, but then it moved and started walking back into the trees. At this point, yeah, because birch has that very kind of
paper-thin, flaky bark.
At this point, we were all thoroughly freaking the fuck out. But then I remember that our 2 dogs are still at home waiting for us. As much as I don't want to see the tree man thing again.
Yeah, you gotta go.
I just can't leave them alone like that.
That's good.
I convince our friend to turn around, and he pulls up into the driveway again. We scan the trees, but didn't see anything human-like anymore. And he pops the trunk open. He hands my boyfriend a baseball bat.
Good.
Myself a golf club.
Good.
And pulls out a tire iron for himself.
Good.
Prepared.
Man, that's a good friend. Peeling out when, reacting quickly, having the weapons.
Well, it says here, he said he was ex-Air Force and super into sports, if you can't tell.
Yeah.
There it is.
Coming prepared.
Both guys keep looking around as I unlock the door for us to go in, and as soon as I turn on the lights, I see our pug Chihuahua mix cowering on the back of our couch.
No.
He looked absolutely terrified.
No, my eyes just immediately exploded.
Every step I took toward him, he backed farther away until he ended up falling off into the corner. He eventually backed up through the dining room kitchen and into the bathroom. It was like he didn't either recognize me or he was so terrified it didn't matter who I was. Yeah. Our beagle mix that usually meets us jumping and dancing at the door was hunkered down in the corner of our bedroom and didn't want to come out.
Oh, no.
We checked the rest of the house. I'm just like gripping my freaking
I am so
smoky
nervous.
quartz right now.
I'm so nervous.
We checked the rest of the house and found that the back door was open a crack, but nothing else was different. Not wanting to spend the night, we packed the pups and clothes and spent the night at our friend's house. Yeah, they just witnessed what happened. I'm sure they're like, come stay.
I would never go back.
Oh my God. I just see like house for sale with everything in it. Mm-hmm. The tree thing never showed itself again after that. But after that point, we consistently had issues with the back door unlocking itself. Oh. And at one point, I found it sitting wide open.
Oh, no.
I was so glad when we moved out of there, and I'm even more glad that whatever it was did not follow us.
What? That was painful to listen to.
What the fuck?
That was...
If something unlocked your door, that means it was probably in your house.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that's why the dogs were so scared. It probably walked up right to them.
Probably did. And it might have just been like wandering around.
Probably just an elemental.
Yeah. It was just a forest spirit. But still, dude, don't come in my fucking house.
This was sent by Amber Lily.
Oh.
Hey, goddesses.
I refuse to be referred to as anything else now.
I am so incredibly grateful for your podcast and listen to it frequently.
Thanks, May.
As someone who is newer to this stuff, I'm happy to hear about basic fundamentals each time I press play. Thank you for the magic that comes through my speakers. Anyways.
Thank you for calling it magic.
Yeah, I know. I'm very flattered. I've always been sensitive to spirits and energy since I was a kid. I saw my first apparition at the Banff Springs Hotel when I was in elementary school, and it's never stopped.
Ooh.
Something particularly interesting happened when we moved from Calgary, Alberta to Vancouver Island. Man, Vancouver Island...
Don't get me started.
...is a hot spot. My grandparents have a large farm property in Sook, the southeastern part of the island.
Pretty.
Dense forest and the smell of soil is consistent perfume of spring and summer. The island is magic. When I was young, my Nana would set up little fairy houses in various parts of the woods on her property. She would take me to talk to the snapdragons, a type of wildflower, and I would hunt for ghosts.
Was your grandmother perchance a witch?
I think she was a witch. There was always a resident ghost in my grandparents' home. Never malicious necessarily, but as a child, I didn't like being alone in the house or in the dark. The sound of dishes smashing late at night, in the kitchen when no one was there, things going missing, the usual. In order to go from the guest room to the bathroom, you had to walk down a dark hallway with a mirror at the end of it. Gross.
Yeah, don't put a mirror at the end of the hallway.
That's gross. From the time I was very little to my now 20s, I always shut my eyes until I'm in the bathroom with the lights on and the door shut because I feel him there. Once moved into our new house on the island, I had strange things happen in my room. Things would go missing and show up in my closet or under my bed. I never felt alone in the room and hated being there if no one else was home. Sometimes I would wake up in the middle of the night being shaken, but nobody was there. I got so used to it that when someone breathed heavily into my ear at night, I just kept reading my book and matter-of-factly said, "I'm not scared of you." Once we moved to sunny Florida, I thought my supernatural experiences would stop because us leaving British Columbia. But something seemed to attach itself to my family. It started with the insects. But to be honest, in Florida, you have big nasty bugs anyways. Yeah. So the scorpion, black widow nests, and the countless roaches in our impeccably clean house didn't rouse too much suspicion. The snakes are what tipped my dad off to something feeling wrong. There were 2 on our back fence. Again, in Florida, that's pretty normal. But usually they scare off when you get close. And they stayed there for days. Yes, they were alive. My younger sister started suffering with deep depression, and it seemed like nothing was working. One night, my sister texted me, which I thought was strange because she was in her room, but could just come to mine. She asked if I was awake, and I told her I was. She told me she was scared, and I tried to reassure her, but once she told me she was looking at, I knew why. She told me there was a woman outside my bedroom door staring at it. Immense anger radiating from the presence. With dark hair, my sister could not see her face, but she was terrified. Thinking I could be facing the character from The Ring, I got out of bed and grabbed an old pellet gun, in parentheses, please explain to me how I thought this would help, and stood at my door ready to open it. She was on the other side of the door.
No, dude.
I would not have opened it.
I would have jumped out the window.
Yeah, I would have just ran out of the window. I felt it. My spine tingled. The hairs on the back of my neck stood on end. Even writing this brings me back to that moment. I flew open the door and light flooded a pitch-black living room. I went to my sister's room and slept with her so she could sleep. From that point on, my little sister would have shadow people follow her. She would wake up with them over her in the corners of her room. If she went on a run, they'd be in the forest running with her. Once we left that neighborhood, my sister's depression seemed to get better, and things seemed much more calm. I'm still curious if her depression was caused by some spiritual attack, or if her depression made her easier to target for malicious things. I know this may be kind of long, so feel free to cut whatever you need to cut. Thanks so much.
None of it. Cutting none of it. Do you think you could ever be that brave?
No.
If we were both sleeping here, and I was up in your loft, and I texted you, hey, there's a woman staring at your door. Do you think you'd be like, well, let me go answer it?
No, I would literally go out of my bathroom window and go to mom's. I would go run to my mom's house. Ooh.
One more story. This is from someone called the Masked Witch.
I like that. That's good.
And they say, I have a spooky story for you.
I want a spooky story from you.
Listening to your podcast brought up the memory of this nightmare?
Maybe not, though.
Sleep paralysis episode?
Maybe so.
That I experienced as a child, which has stuck with me for more than a decade. I have never experienced another nightmare like it, so it has always made me wonder. To lay the scene, I am 10 years old.
Okay.
In 5th grade. My room is laid out so that from my bed, I can see the top of the stairs leading up to my room. I don't like that.
That's change the bed so that you can't see that.
I don't like that. I would stare at those stairs all day long.
That is literally a nightmare. That's a nightmare in itself. Awake. I
can see the top of the stairs leading in my room.
That's a nightmare.
I can often hang coats on the railing there. Well, now you're just going to think they're people. On the wall, there is an annoying as shit analog clock with a loud audible tick that has kept me up on multiple occasions. All right. In the middle of the night, something wakes me up. I sit up in bed, feeling wide awake, and twist around to look at my alarm clock. It's exactly
3 a.m. Mm-hmm.
Then I hear footsteps on the wooden stairs.
I want to throw up.
And I freeze in my sitting up position. Yep, that's me, boy.
No, I would have just laid back down. I would have just tried to
put
my head under my pillow.
I would have sat there and stared whatever it was until it ate my face. The footsteps are heavy and methodical. They come evenly, unnaturally, and constant.
It's a man in black.
Then I see the shadow of a robed figure.
Oh, jeez.
With an outstretched, withered-looking hand.
Oh, my God.
Trailing up the railing of the stairs. Ooh, so he's just
dragging his hand along.
I can't take my eyes off the shadow, and I don't want to move. And a voice says, "Who are you?" The voice is loud, clear, and deep.
Oh, wow.
A little scratchy and echoey.
Okay.
It has no direction, but seems to surround me.
Wow.
And I hear it more in my mind than in my ears. I, being an absolute idiot, tell it my name. It doesn't really respond to that, but just jumps straight into demanding, "Give it back." I am confused because I am 10 and haven't stolen anything to my knowledge.
I haven't stolen anything from death.
And I ask it, "Give what back?" The voice just repeats itself. Give it back. We go back and forth like that for a while.
I like that, yeah.
Me trying to... I just imagine a kid just very innocently...
I don't know.
What are you talking about? Me trying to find out what it thinks I've taken, and it just insisting that I give it back. Several times it uses my name, saying, "Give it back, my name." Then it says, "I'm coming to get it. Give it back.
Want to not be here anymore."
I want to stop existing right now. And at this point, I am desperately shouting things like, "I don't understand. I haven't taken anything, and you can have it back," in a panicked attempt to stop it from reaching the top of the stairs, which at this point has gone on for much longer than there were physical stairs.
Yeah, I get that. Oh, jeez.
And suddenly it stops, and I am left in silence, listening to its footsteps coming up the stairs, until gradually the fear fades away and I realize that the footsteps are in time with the obnoxious
ticking of the clock,
of the analog clock on the wall, and that the shadow on the stairs has not moved, and I have a coat hanging on the railing that is casting it. No one else in the house has been woken up by my shouting, but I am awake, and I'm sitting up in bed, and when I finally feel safe enough to look at my alarm clock again, no time has passed.
Whoa. That was like an Edgar Allan Poe story.
That was really, really good. That was really good.
Man, we've been recording for 4 hours.
That was a wild ride. All of them.
I am exhausted.
There was not a one disappointing story.
I am like emotionally exhausted.
I'm drained.
Yeah, I'm drained.
All right. Thank you guys so much again for sending the stories in. Those were fan-fucking-tastic. We have so many more stories that have been sent in. So many. So if you have not heard yours yet, just stay tuned. We do these every 10 episodes, so our next one will be on or around the 55th episode. I don't know how much we're willing to give away at this point, Mace, but our next Spookysode potentially could be very different.
Yeah. And we are going to be so freaked out.
It's going to be different in a way that actually puts us in a position of...
we're going to be very vulnerable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mace Wad.
Yes.
Would you care to get in the hearse and roll on down to Spooky Town and then pass Spooky Town, and then roll right down to Beantown.
You mean that place where they roll the beautiful review footage?
Of course. Go to Beantown Cinema.
Beantown Cinemas.
That beautiful.
The 24-hour Beantown Cinemas where they play the same thing.
It's just constant review footage.
Yep. Hilarious, engaging, resourceful.
Resourceful. Oh.
Sent by Witched Out. I find myself going back to this podcast when I needed a refresh on some of the information given. These girls are fun to listen, and I can't wait to hear more. Keep it up.
Thank you so much, Witched Out.
Witched Out.
And that's how I feel right now, is like
I'm
witched out.
Man. Hey, did you know we can have an email?
We have that ability.
We can have one.
We do. It is the 90s. We are at wbahpodcast@gmail.com.
Oh, God. Hey, we're on Instagram. What's our Instagram?
It is at Witch Bitch Amateur Hour.
At Witch Bitch Amateur Hour.
Amateur Hour. We have one Twitter. What is it?
One Twitter where we tweet. Bitch Hour.
Come meet with us over on Facebook at Witch Amateur Hour. Where should they meander if they're interested in joining our patrons to view these spookysodes?
Yeah, and to take part in our Facebook Live hangouts a single month.
Yes.
That was fun today. It doesn't feel like we did that 5 hours ago.
I know.
We had a lot of margaritas.
We did.
You can find us on Patreon at www.patreon.com/WBAHpodcast.
P.O. Box A65.
Canton, Texas. 75103.
But since this is a spooky-sode,
oh,
the devil will always get what he is owed.
Oh.
Thanks for joining us on this spooky-sode.
That works.
If you go visit this place, now I Google Map located it. What did the kids say? I looked at it online. And it looks like your average run-of-the-mill cemetery. It's not, don't rub your face at me.
What do you mean? What did the kids say? I looked at it online. Excuse me?
I Googled it, and then I did the thing where you drop the man on the street.
Oh, Google Street View?
I Googled, thank you, Street View. So I used Street View.
Don't redeem it.